Douluo Dalu. Life or Death Pact. It begins with a forced kiss to Qian Renxue. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyright or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 101. Qian Renxue asked, who do you like more, Dark Qian Renxue or her? We should face the days ahead with an optimistic and positive attitude, so the two soon began to talk and laugh. Qian Renxue suddenly asked playfully, Hey, Chu Ye, I'm going to ask you a question, you must answer me seriously. What's the question? Do you think I look better like this, or in the dark? Do you prefer me like this, or do you like the charming and enchanting look in the dark? Qian Renxue stared at Chu Ye with her big watery eyes, waiting for Chu Ye to answer. Oh, this question? Chu Ye smiled awkwardly. Recalling the appearance of the dark Qian Renxue just now, and her charming and enchanting look, it's true that the dark Qian Renxue is also very good. Completely different styles and feelings, although they have the same face, they are like two different people, each with their own beauty and characteristics. Qian Renxue suddenly frowned and stared at Chu Ye. You hesitated. I didn't. You just hesitated. I really didn't hesitate. You obviously hesitated. Your hesitation proves that you think she is more beautiful, and you like it more. Qian Renxue put her hands on her waist, puffed her face and was a little angry. Chu Ye hurriedly explained. I don't think so, Chu Ye, of course you are more beautiful. I like you like this. Besides, whether you are young or dark, don't they all look like you? Except for having the same face, she and I are different. Okay, then ask again, this time I promise not to hesitate. You can only ask this kind of question once, I won't ask it again. Qian Renxue was in a bad mood, quickened her pace, and walked in front alone angrily. Chu Ye, wait for me. It's not like that, listen to my explanation. Chu Ye hurriedly chased after her to coax her. No matter what kind of woman, when she is in love and getting along with her partner, she will become childish and become like an ordinary woman. This is also that charm of love. Chu Ye is really not good at coaxing women. Every time at this moment, he feels that this is more difficult than any practice. Looking at Chu Ye like that, Qian Renxue couldn't help but cover her mouth and smile. Okay, I'm kidding you, I'm not angry. Hey. Chu Ye smiled with a fake smile. At this time, suddenly a strong breath was approaching rapidly. The two of them were alert at the same time. Chu Ye felt the other's breath first and relaxed. It's okay, it's Douluo. Qian Renxue also relaxed her vigilance when she saw this. Soon, Douluo appeared in front of him. Yo, I haven't seen you for almost 2 years. You two have changed a lot, and your aura has also improved a lot. Seeing Chu Ye and Qian Renxue again, Douluo was very surprised. Because they have changed not only in appearance, body, height, but also in breath and the aura of the strong. Although the soul power has not increased much, Douluo can feel that they should be much stronger. The benefits of the City of Slaughter are not only the domain of the God of Killing, but also the improvement and understanding of combat skills and combat capabilities. After these 2 years, Chu Ye seemed to have realized the true meaning of fighting. Nearly 2 years later, Chu Ye has already become a big boy of more than 13 years old. It was also during these 2 years that his body developed rapidly. His height, figure, body shape, and appearance have all changed significantly. People who are not very familiar with him may not be able to recognize this change at first glance. With delicate features, handsome, he is already a handsome man with the charm of a man. His body lines are also very perfect, with some muscles in his arms and abdomen, but he is not the kind of big muscle man, but the kind of muscle type that countless women like. His height has also grown to 175, and he is still in the development stage of the age of 13. It is estimated that he will be at least 185 inches height when he grows up. Similarly, Qian Renxue is already 16 years old. She has completely transformed from a girl to a woman, with the true taste of a woman. Her body and figure are almost fully developed, becoming more charming. Chu Ye smiled. Elder, you are still the same in these 2 years. Oh, what changes can I have? Douluo raised his orchid finger, and then patted Chu Ye's shoulder. Not bad, Chu Ye, your body is much stronger. Okay, now, I will take you back to Ihun City. Well, let's go. The two followed Douluo down the mountain and returned to Ihun City. At the same time, on the other side, the Tiando Empire had learned the news that Chu Ye stepped out of the killing city, which surprised the royal family. They didn't expect that he really came out, but this also made them want to kill Chu Ye even more. The second Prince Qian immediately contacted Douluo and signaled that he could set off. Douluo prepared to go immediately after hearing the news, but he first found his granddaughter. Then Douluo found Yan at the Tiando Royal Academy. "Grandpa, why are you here?" Yan ran from a distance, then gently held Douluo's arm, with a well-behaved face. "My dear granddaughter, Grandpa is going on a long journey. During this time, you should practice well in Tiando Royal Academy," Douluo said kindly. "Grandpa, where are you going?" Yan asked. "Hehe, to teach the kid who bullied you a lesson." Douluo's face suddenly turned cold. Yan noticed the murderous intent in Douluo's eyes, and she suddenly grabbed Douluo's hand nervously. "Grandpa, can you not kill him first?" "Huh? Why is that, Yan? Don't you keep talking about killing him?" Yan also felt that her reaction was suddenly very abnormal. She obviously hated Chu Ye very much and wanted him to die, but now, she was a little conflicted. "I want to teach him a lesson myself. I want him to kneel in front of me and admit his mistakes. I want to kill him with my own hands." In fact, ever since Yan was pressed to the ground and spanked by Chu Ye in the Qingdou Great Forest that year. In the past few years, Yan would think of the scene from time to time, when she was pressed to the ground by Chu Ye and spanked. Every time she thought of it, she would be very angry, and her butt would seem to ache slightly. She was really ashamed and angry. But it is undeniable that Chu Ye's appearance and face would often appear in her mind. Douluo glanced at his granddaughter, did not respond, and said, "This matter concerns the royal family, and it is not for Grandpa to decide. Okay, Grandpa should go, and what we said between us must not be spread." I know. Yan silently looked at Douluo's back as he left, feeling a little uneasy. After saying goodbye to his granddaughter, Douluo rode the fastest horse to his destination with a strong murderous intent. After going down the mountain, Chu Ye asked, "Elder Yuligan, are you the only one coming to meet us this time?" Chapter 102's Where, do you want to wash first or should I? What, isn't it enough to have a title Douluo pick you up? Douluo smiled. Enough. Chu Ye didn't say anything. Indeed, if you say, a title Douluo can almost stop thousands of troops. After the three arrived at the nearest human habitat town, they called a carriage and returned to Hun City. About 2 days later, the three arrived at a small or medium-sized city, planning to settle down here and have a good rest and relax for a day. After all, he had been in the killing city for 2 years. In that environment, he couldn't eat or sleep well. Killing all day was too depressing, so he planned to have a good time in the city, go shopping, eat and drink, and soak in the hot springs at night, and have a revengeful meal. Okay, Elder Yuligan, do what you should do. We are going to have a world for 2 people. Okay, you young people go and have fun. Douluo was also very sensible. He didn't ask to follow him to be a light bulb. He just strolled around in the city. Although he was a little lonely, he had long been accustomed to being alone. "Chu Ye, let's go." Qian Renxue couldn't wait to pull Chu Ye's hand and go shopping. The two of them temporarily separated from Douluo and went to the busiest commercial street in the city, where there are a lot of food and clothing stores. Chu Ye, let's go buy clothes first, and then have something to eat." Okay. The two entered a clothing store, and Qian Renxue began to choose. "Chu Ye, this white dress looks good." Chu Ye touched his chin and looked at it. "Well, it's not bad, you can try it on." Qian Renxue began to choose clothes one by one and try them on. After a while, she tried on more than 10 pieces. In fact, people like Qian Renxue who are beautiful and have a good figure are natural models, and they usually look good in anything. "Chu Ye, I think these are all pretty. I see. Hello miss, this one, and that one, and the badge that was worn here. Pack them all for me." "Yes." "Good. Sir, please wait a moment." "Right away." "I'll pack them for you right away." The waitress was very surprised. Wow, he didn't expect that he was so generous and bought more than a dozen pieces at once. "You know, this store is the most upscale in this city." The waitress was very happy because she also got a commission. After a while, the two of them walked out with a big bag of clothes. Chu Ye was too lazy to carry it, so he put it into the soul guide. Then the two of them went to the food street to eat snacks. In the evening, they went to a big restaurant to eat. At about 7 or 8 o'clock, the two of them chose a hotel with hot springs to check in and take a hot spring bath. Then they were on the rooftop of the hotel, enjoying the night view of the city and the beautiful starry sky. A day passed like this. At almost 12 o'clock in the evening, Chu Ye excitedly pulled Qian Renxue to the hotel room. Chu Ye, do you wash first, or should I? Qian Renxue's face flushed immediately. She had guessed what Chu Ye wanted to do, and said shyly, you wash first. Okay. Chu Ye ran directly to the bathroom. As he grew older, his body's instincts became stronger and stronger. Chu Ye couldn't wait any longer, and he had to take Qian Renxue down tonight. In fact, as early as the night before they went to the slaughter city, Qian Renxue had already agreed that this step could happen, but she stopped because of Mana. Later, when they arrived at the slaughter city, that kind of place was really not suitable for doing such things, and Qian Renxue didn't want to give herself completely to Chu Ye in such an evil and dirty place. So, Chu Ye has been waiting until now. This time, he must make Qian Renxue his real woman. Definitely. Not long after, Chu Ye came out after washing. Then I'll go. Looking at Chu Ye's wolf-like fiery eyes, Qian Renxue was very immature and shyly ran into the absorption room. She stuck to the glass door of the bathroom, and her heartbeat was actually very fast. She was also very excited and nervous. She slowly took off her clothes, took a shower and changed clothes. Chu Ye lay on the bed and heard the sound of running water in the bathroom again. It became more and more difficult to calm down, and her heartbeat was pounding. Soon, Qian Renxue also came out of the shower, also wearing a set of sexy underwear. Chu Ye, come here. Chu Ye couldn't help it at all. He got off the bed directly, walked quickly, and domineeringly picked up Qian Renxue, and then gently threw her on the bed. Ah, Chu Ye, you, don't be so impatient. Chu Ye, you are so tempting, how can I not be impatient? Looking at the blushing woman in front of him, Chu Ye didn't say anything, and directly pressed Qian Renxue under him and kissed Qian Renxue on the lips. Chu Ye. Hearing Qian Renxue's voice, Chu Ye became more passionate. The two hugged each other tightly and kissed each other continuously. After a while, the two were almost naked, and the atmosphere was already at its peak. Chu Ye, give you completely to me. Well. From now on, I'm your woman. You can do anything to me. Qian Renxue's face was extremely red. She was ready to become Chu Ye's real woman. Okay, Chu Ye, then you do this, then, that way. Yes, that's it. Chu Ye took a deep breath and was fully prepared, but at this moment, at this critical moment, Chu Ye and Qian Renxue suddenly sensed several murderous intentions approaching rapidly. Wait. Chu Ye has murderous intent. Qian Renxue's palm instantly pressed on Chu Ye's chest and asked him to stop. Chu Ye roared in his heart. Worry. The next second, a man in black broke through the window and killed him. Fuck you. Chu Ye was completely furious, his face was ferocious, full of murderous intent, extremely fierce and brutal. With emotion, he punched the man in black who flew in and knocked him to the ground. Bang. Wow. The black man screamed and fell to the ground. Chu Ye and Qian Renxue both put on their clothes in seconds. It's like this again. It's a critical moment again. Chu Ye seemed to have changed into a different person in an instant. His body was filled with extremely terrifying murderous intent. He stared at the man in black on the ground and said angrily, "You really deserve to die. What's going on?" The man in black looked at Chu Ye in horror. "Dare to ruin my good thing. Fuck." Chu Ye jumped down directly and stomped hard on the man in black's stomach with one foot, which was very brutal. Wow. Chu Ye grabbed the other's neck tightly, clenched his fist, and punched the man in black's face again and again. Bang. Bang bang. If you want to assassinate me, why don't you come a few minutes later? What's going on? What's wrong with this kid? Why is he so angry? The man in black was a little defeated and desperate after being beaten. Chapter 103. The reappearance of the angels of gods and demons, the sneak attack of Douluo. Soon, 3 more men in black broke through the window and rushed in. When they saw Chu Ye, who was full of murderous intent and anger, they were all stunned. When they saw their companions being beaten on the ground, the corners of their mouths couldn't help but twitch. What was going on? Why did they feel like they were being beaten when they rushed in? When people are absolutely angry, they will burst out with unimaginable and amazing fighting power. One of the 3 who rushed in was stopped by Qian Renxue, and the other 2 were instantly grabbed by Chu Ye's neck and smashed against the wall. Ah! The next second, all 4 of them smashed the wall and were knocked out. Chu Ye stood on the edge of the wall that was broken through, with a murderous look on his face, looking down angrily. What's going on? What on earth did you do? How could this kid be so cruel? I don't know either. I didn't do anything. The four looked at Chu Ye above with horror. They were all soul saints, but they were completely overwhelmed by Chu Ye in terms of momentum. They even felt that it was not them who came to kill Chu Ye, but Chu Ye who came to kill them. Open the soul real body. This kid is more powerful than we thought. Soul real body. As the four people opened their soul real body, 6 more men in black came around. There were 2 soul Douluos and 7 soul saints in total. Seeing this lineup, Chu Ye narrowed his eyes slightly. You are the people sent by the Tiando royal family. Everyone looked at each other and did not respond. Don't waste time, go together and kill him immediately. 2 soul Douluos and 8 soul saints took off at the same time to kill. Swear. Here it comes. Soul fusion technique, angel demon god destruction. Chu Ye and Qian Renxue quickly began to fuse their souls, and a huge angel appeared behind them, accompanied by 2 swords of light and darkness. The power of the soul fusion technique will increase as the soul master's strength increases. Back then, when Chu Ye was only in his 30s and Qian Renxue was in her 40s, angel demon god destruction could suppress the 6th soul skill of Snake Spear Douluo. Now, the power of their soul fusion technique is even more terrifying, and title Douluo level must at least use the 8th soul skill to resist it. Not good. Use soul skills quickly. The 10 people sensed the terrible power and did not dare to be careless. They all mobilized their soul skills to fight back. Bang, boom, boom. The terrible forces of both sides collided head-on, and several soul saints were instantly seriously injured on the spot, and 2 even died on the spot. How is it possible that the person we want to kill is really just a 13-year-old boy? All the assassins were shocked. The biggest problem of the Tiando royal family was that they could not accurately grasp the information about Chu Ye's strength. They thought that no matter how powerful a soul sect was, he could not be a match for a soul saint. Therefore, the soul saints they sent over were basically mainly assassinations, and quick attacks, and their strength was naturally not as domineering as that of a strong attack-type soul master. But even this kind of soul saint was enough to easily kill a soul sect level boy, but now it was completely beyond their expectations. In one blow, 2 died and 3 were seriously injured. Swear. Share power. The power of Chu Ye and Qian Renxue began to rise rapidly. Both of them were over 40 levels. As their levels increased, the effect of power sharing would be more terrifying. Borrowing half of Qian Renxue's power, Chu Ye's soul power directly reached the level of Soul King. Qian Renxue also reached the level of Soul King. The next second, the 2 of them started the martial soul fusion technique again. Angels of gods and demons. After the battle with Snake Spear Douluo, this was the 2nd time that the 2 of them started fighting with angels of gods and demons. A fusion of half gold, half black, and half light and darkness appeared again. Like gods and demons. But what surprised Chu Ye and Qian Renxue was that the 2 swords in the hands of angels of gods and demons were no longer the lightsabers and dark swords differentiated from the ordinary swords of gods and demons. Instead, they were the evolved swords of light and dark in Chu Ye's light and dark forms. Chu Ye, what's going on? I don't know either. Chu Ye could only use the swords of light and dark when he opened the light and dark forms. He didn't expect that he could use them in the state of angels of gods and demons. They actually have martial soul fusion skills, and their aura is so terrifying. What kind of monsters are they? Several people looked serious, but they immediately mobilized their strength to kill. Ha! The terrifying angels of gods and demons chopped down with a sword, which was a terrifying energy bombardment. He suppressed the combined attack of 2 soul Douluos on the spot, and then quickly flagged his angel winds, which were half dark and half light, and quickly came to the side of a soul saint, killing him instantly with 1 sword. Puff. Ah. How terrifying. Chu Ye, our god and demon angels seem to be much stronger than they were back then. Qian Renxue was surprised herself. Well, now we're in the god and demon angels state, I'm afraid we're enough to fight a low-level title Douluo. Chu Ye was also shocked in his heart. You know, they are all soul sects now. How terrifying will the god and demon angels be when they reach Soul King, Soul Emperor, and Soul Saint? A bunch of trash, and I have to do it myself. Poison Douluo, who was watching the battle secretly, cursed inwardly when he saw this group of people being suppressed by the god and demon angels. But he was also extremely shocked and surprised in his heart. He thought that these 10 people could easily kill Chu Ye, and he didn't need to do it himself. As a result, Douluo couldn't sit still now. He had to do it himself, otherwise it would be difficult to kill Chu Ye in a short time. Just as the god and demon angel slashed at the two soul duos with his double sword and fought against them, Douluo instantly came behind that god and demon angel and condensed his poison attack on his fist to attack her. The god and demon angel slashed the two soul duos with his double swords, turned around at the limit, blocked Douluo's punch, but the god and demon angel was also knocked to the ground by Douluo's punch. Bang! The god and demon angel inserted his double swords into the ground, barely stabilizing his posture, raised his head and looked up at the title Douluo who was showing his soul rings in circles. The god and demon angel looked cold. Douluo. It turns out that the Tiando royal family wants to kill me. Your words have already revealed that you killed the third prince of Tiando. Douluo sneered. What? What do you mean I killed the third prince? Is the third prince dead? Don't pretend, boy. If the Empire knows about it, I will kill you today. You dared to bully my granddaughter like that back then. I, Douluo, have said long ago that no matter how respected you are in the spirit hall, one day, I will kill you with my own hands. Today is your death. Douluo's murderous voice rang out, and the 9 rings of yellow, yellow, purple, purple, blab, 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 black appeared completely. The next second, his body flashed left and right like a killer. Go to hell. Just you. Douluo, just see if you have what it takes. Ha 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 ha, I'm a titled Douluo. Chapter 104. Fighting. Battle with Douluo. The god and demon angel attacked head-on, and Douluo was able to gather a huge soul power to punch. Bang. The two terrifying energies confronted head-on, and the powerful soul power impact almost caused a gust of wind to rise around. The power of both sides continued to output and suppressed each other, and they were evenly matched. How could the fusion skills of two soul sect martial souls be so powerful that they could actually block my full-strength punch? Douluo's face was very ugly. He is a titled Douluo, and the full-strength attack of the huge soul power is also terrifying, but it was resisted and even suppressed. Now is not the time to be surprised, Douluo. The god and demon angel showed a hint of evil at the corner of his mouth, and the next second, he disappeared instantly. What a fast speed! Douluo immediately captured the position of the god and demon angel, and when he reacted, he could only see a flash of golden light. Douluo's arm was instantly chopped off. If he hadn't reacted in time, this arm might have been broken. Douluo held his arms, shocked that he would suffer a loss. He looked up with fear, and he had long lost the arrogant look just now. At this moment, the god and demon angel was already standing on the roof of a 10-story building, with the full moon behind it, full of aura that made Douluo, a titled Douluo, feel fearful. You, come with me, kill Chu Ye before the dead demon comes out. Douluo ordered. He had realized that it would be difficult for him to kill Chu Ye and Qian Renxue, the fusion of the god and demon angel, by himself. It was not a fair thing for a nearly 100-year-old titled Douluo to deal with a teenager. Now he wanted others to join forces, which was like losing face. But Douluo was a man who didn't care about face, so he didn't care about these. Kill. Douluo led 2 soul duos and 3 soul synths to launch an attack at the same time. Zwire, let's avoid the frontal attack and try to delay that time to kill the weaker ones first. Understood. The two of them thought the same thing, and the next second, they flapped their wings and flew down. Even facing a titled Douluo, 2 soul duos and several soul saints, the two of them were not afraid. Because the power of the god and demon angel in the state is not inferior to Douluo, and even in terms of physical strength, the power is stronger than Douluo. The speed is not inferior to poison Douluo at all. 3rd soul skill. 5th soul skill. 4th soul skill. Rest, bang bang bang. The god and demon angels dodged and resisted their soul skill attacks. With the speed of lightning, the 2 swords instantly pierced the chest of a soul saint. Die. Puff. Ah. The soul saint died on the spot and was thrown away by the god and demon angel with a sword. Damn it, how could it be so strong? How could it be? Is this really just the fusion of the martial souls of 2 soul masters? Douluo's face was gloomy. He still underestimated the strength of the fusion of Chu Ye and Qian Renxue. It was so powerful that it was beyond everyone's imagination, so powerful that even he, a titled Douluo, felt a strong threat. Can't delay any longer. The 3rd soul skill, the Jade Scale Solar Ray. A ball of green poison exploded from Douluo's body, and then a white mist was shrouded around him, making the field of vision smaller. Zhuye, we have to be careful. Douluo's third soul skill reduces our field of vision, and at the same time, he can make his speed reach the level of almost teleportation in the soul array. The god and demon angel was fighting with several soul masters, while also guarding against Douluo, who could appear at any time. Here I come. Douluo appeared behind him in an instant and punched him again. Bang! The god and demon angel barely blocked the attack, but Douluo disappeared again. As a titled Douluo, you are so shameless to use these sneak attacks against two of us juniors with the help of many spirit masters. You are such a shameless person. Poisonous man. I, Douluo, have never cared about face or means in my life. As long as I can achieve my goal, it's fine. Boy, you'll die in my hands today. Hush. Bang. Douluo attacked again in an instant. Every time he attacked, he would attack when the gods and demons, angels and other spirit masters were fighting, so as to achieve the best sneak attack effect. The gods and demons angels can only face them alone at most. The lowest level titled Douluos like Douluo may be suppressed, but they may not be able to defeat them. Now there are many spirit masters assisting Douluo. Chu Ye and Qian Renxue were in a fusion state, and they will inevitably fall into a disadvantage after a few moves. What should we do, Chu Ye? The current situation is not favorable to us. The state of the god and demon angel is rapidly consuming our soul power, and it is difficult for us to find a chance to escape. Zhuye, their target is me. I think the Tiando royal family does not have the courage to kill you. We will find an opportunity later and take the initiative to remove the state of the god and demon angel. I will cover you and let you get out immediately, and then you go to find Douluo god. After you leave a distance, I will use the evil god space to put Douluo into it alone. I am sure that I can fight him for several rounds in the evil god space, or even kill him alone. Chu Ye has a countermeasure. Remove the state of the god and demon angel to let Qian Renxue escape and call for help. Chu Ye is 90% sure that they will not chase Qian Renxue, because instead of spending time chasing and preventing Qian Renxue from calling for help, it is easier to work together to kill the target killer Chu Ye. In their eyes, Chu Ye is just a soul master. If he loses the state of the god and demon angel, it means that he can be easily killed. Chu Ye was also 100% sure that they didn't dare to kill Qian Renxue. If the son of God died, there would be other sons of God or saints to appear. A genius, no matter how talented he was, would be worthless if he died. The spirit hall would definitely weigh the pros and cons and would not completely break up with the empire because of a dead genius. And the reality was indeed so. Even though he was highly valued by the spirit hall now, if he died, perhaps only Bai Dong would fight for him among the top leaders. They didn't know how important Chu Ye was in Bai Dong's heart. If they knew, the Tiando royal family probably wouldn't dare to send someone to assassinate him. But Qian Renxue was different. She was a descendant of the Six-Winged Angel clan. That was the existence of the spirit hall's faith and the bloodline of the Six-Winged Angel clan. If she was killed, it would be equivalent to cutting off the incense inheritance of the Six-Winged Angel lineage. Why didn't Qian Dalu lead the spirit hall to fight to the death? Therefore, after letting Qian Renxue escape for a distance, he can pull Douluo into the independent evil god space to avoid being besieged and start a 1v1 duel with Douluo. Chu Ye has not yet proven in practice what level of peak combat power he can reach. He is not sure whether he can defeat Douluo, but he can definitely fight until Qian Renxue brings Douluo back for support. In addition, he also takes the opportunity to see whether the peak strength he can reach can really defeat the titled Douluo. He is looking forward to it. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 105 Crisis Resolved, Chu Ye's Decision. 5th Soul Skill, Green Scaled Snake King Break. Bang. The god and demon angel was instantly knocked to the ground, and two soul fighters immediately attacked from both sides. Bang. The god and demon angel blocked one person with a sword on each side. 6th Soul Skill, Green Scaled Snake King Poison. Hiss. Douluo stepped on the huge green snake, and the terrible poison attack was fully released at this moment. A large amount of green poison spurted out of the green snake's mouth and bombarded the god and demon angel. Zhuye, now. Disintegrate. The god and demon angel's state was lifted, and Chu Ye and Qian Renxue appeared. Disintegrate at this time, what do they want to do? Douluo was very puzzled. How could they block his powerful 8th soul skill if they disintegrated? Isn't it courting death? Here. Chu Ye sneered, and a golden bead appeared in his hand instantly. This golden bead is the inner elixir that Chu Ye obtained in the City of Slaughter when he killed the 10-headed fiery sun snake. This inner elixir can block and resolve, and can suppress all snake venom. It has absolute snake venom suppression power. It is the greatest magic weapon against Douluo. Go. Chu Ye mobilized the golden elixir to throw the snake poison light that Douluo was bombarding, and thus block Douluo's powerful 8th soul skill. What? What on earth is this golden bead? And it actually blocked my 8th soul skill. Douluo looked a little ferocious, and said gloomily, even if you blocked my 8th soul skill, you have lifted the martial soul fusion state. Next, I want to see how you, a kid with only the strength of the soul sect, can deal with my moves. You're dead. Come on. Don't touch that girl. Just kill this kid. Douluo already knew that Qian Renxue was a descendant of the 6-winged angel clan. His mission this time was to kill Chu Ye. As for Qian Renxue, he really didn't have the courage to move. Then come. Douluo, let's see who will win today. Chu Ye showed a fierce look on his face, and secretly prepared to find a breakthrough for Qian Renxue. At this moment, a very neutral voice sounded around. Chrysanthemum Douluo is here. Chu Ye no longer had to find a breakthrough for Qian Renxue. 9th soul skill, chrysanthemums are withered, the ground is full of wounds, the flowers fall and people are heartbroken. Countless golden chrysanthemum petals fill the entire sky at this moment, a full 1,000 pieces, each as sharp as a blade. Not good. It's Chrysanthemum Douluo. Everyone showed a horrified expression on their faces, and the next second, countless golden petals cut towards them. Puff puff. Ah. In an instant, all the soul masters except Douluo were killed on the spot, and Douluo was also severely injured by this blow. Damn it. Chrysanthemum Gate. Douluo roared unwillingly. In his opinion, he was just a little bit away from killing Chu Ye. Here. You are the old poisonous creature who is looking for death again. You actually tried to kill the holy son of our spirit hall. If he dies in your hands, you won't have enough lives to kill him. Seeing Douluo appear, Douluo knew that he would definitely not be able to kill Chu Ye today. He was very decisive and immediately released a large cloud of poisonous fog and ran away, and used the soul bone skill. Then he ran away immediately, running very fast, not daring to delay for a moment. It's Medusa's gaze. Here, you old poisonous creature only know how to bully the younger generation. You can't beat them, but you run faster than a dog. If you have the ability, don't leave. Seeing that Douluo successfully escaped, Douluo mocked loudly. He didn't chase him anymore, because he was worried that he would be lured away from the mountain to prevent other assassins. It's a pity that I couldn't use the evil god space to trap Douluo. Chu Ye looked at Douluo with a cold expression, and the fleeing figure. The evil god space does not unconditionally pull the enemy into it. He needs a certain distance to have a high success rate. Chu Ye, young master, are you alright? Sorry, I'm late to protect you. It's okay, Elder Unicorn, we said we wanted to live in a world of two. It's not your fault that you can't show up in time. Qian Renxue didn't blame him. Thank you for your understanding, young master, but I don't understand why the Tiando Empire suddenly sent this old poison to assassinate Chu Ye. Is it because I killed the third prince of the Tiando Empire? Chu Ye said this very calmly, but it shocked Douluo. What? You actually killed the Tiando prince? When did it happen? Why is there no news from our Wihun Hall? There are spies from the Wihun Hall in the palaces of the two empires. Logically, it is impossible for them not to know about such a big thing as the death of the prince. I guess the Tiando royal family deliberately blocked the news, fearing that we would know that I killed the third prince, so as to prevent us from sending more people to protect me when we leave the slaughter city. Chu Ye guessed. He actually wanted to fight Douluo alone to test his current strength. Unfortunately, he was scared away by Douluo. So that's how it is. After we go back, I will report this to His Holiness the Pope. Looking at the direction where Douluo fled, Chu Ye suddenly made a decision, and a strong murderous intent flashed in his eyes. Elder Unicorn, are you willing to follow me to the Sunset Forest to kill Douluo? Douluo was one of Chu Ye's must-kill list, because his poison-based group attack was actually a big threat to the future unification of the continent by the Spirit Hall. Chu Ye originally wanted to wait until he was stronger, find an opportunity, and solve it, but after this time, he decided to take action in advance and go over to take the fairy grass. It just so happened that he also wanted to try to see if he could kill a low-level titled Douluo like Douluo with all his strength. This, Douluo's assassination failed. I think he doesn't dare to stay in the Sunset Forest. I think he will go to Tiando City and Prince Zhu Exing to avoid the limelight. Douluo guessed. He won't hide in Tiando City for a long time. Sunset Forest is where Douluo practiced poison attack, and there are countless precious immortal herbs there. Even if he hid in Tiando City, he would come back from time to time to take a look. Even so, it's hard for the two of us to kill Douluo. Even if we want to kill him, we have to ask His Holiness the Pope to send a few more titled Douluo to go, so that it will be easier to kill this old poisoner. Chu Ye, Elder Yuigan is right, you don't have to go with two people, When I go back, I will directly ask my grandfather to send the elders to take action, and Douluo can be easily crushed to death. Qian Renxue said angrily, a mere poisoned Douluo dared to assassinate a man. Chu Ye shook his head. The elders of the Spirit Hall, even Pope Bai Dong, are not qualified to transfer them at will, and the elders will not show up casually. They only guard the Spirit Hall. Although Qian Renxue can definitely invite the elders, it is also against the rules. Bai Dong has the right to transfer ordinary elders, but the main reason why Chu Ye only took Douluo with him was because of the magical herbs in the Sunset Forest. Chapter 106 Where, I don't believe that someone will disturb us this time. If Bai Dong sent people, it would be an action of the Spirit Hall. If only he and Douluo went, it would be a private action, which is very different in meaning. The ownership of the immortal grass will also be collective and private. It belongs to the Spirit Hall or Chu Ye personally. Among all the titled Douluos, Chu Ye trusts only Douluo the most. He is also very confident that he can kill Douluo with Douluo. Elder Yuigan, in fact, the two of us are enough. Chu Ye shook his head, and then said seriously, to be honest, with my current strength, I'm enough to fight a low-level titled Douluo like Douluo. What? You are just a soul sect, how is it possible? Douluo was very surprised. But looking at Chu Ye's serious face, it seems that he is not joking. He said seriously, well, even if you have such strength, it is difficult for the two of us to keep him together. Douluo is definitely not my opponent, but if a titled Douluo insists on not fighting and only wants to escape, I can't kill him. Besides, the Sunset Forest is near Tiando City. He can escape to Tiando City quickly. Once he enters Tiando City, Douluo is protected by Prince Zhu Exing, and we can't do anything. Douluo analyzed the truth. Chu Ye naturally knew this. In the past, Douluo and Ghost Douluo chased Douluo for several days but couldn't kill him. It was not because Douluo was very fast, but a titled Douluo. It is easy to defeat him, but it is not easy to kill him. Chu Ye said confidently, I have the ability to prevent him from escaping. Of course, just in case, it would be best to bring another titled Douluo with me, but if there is such a person, I only hope it is Ghost Douluo, the ghostly elder. His head dark demon evil god tiger soul bone skill, the evil god space, can lock Douluo in the evil god space. Unless he takes the initiative to unlock it or is killed by the other party, the evil god space will be released. If it weren't for Douluo's sudden appearance and Douluo's decisive escape, Douluo would have been trapped in the evil god space. And he didn't want people he didn't trust enough to know that he had a bunch of priceless immortal herbs in Douluo's hands. Among the titled Douluos he trusted, in addition to Douluo, the only one left was Ghost Douluo. Ghost Douluo was Douluo's best friend. The two had a very good relationship. They had been friends since they were young and had practiced together until now. In memory, when Ghost Douluo was killed instantly by a sneak attack by Tang San, who said that he never sneak attacks others and that sneak attacks would cover his soul with a layer of dirtiness. Only Chrysanthemum Douluo was heartbroken and crazy. So it is okay to bring Ghost Douluo. This Chrysanthemum Douluo hesitated a little. Elder Yuigan, you go with me, and I will give you a big surprise afterwards, a surprise that will make you excited and crazy. Chu Ye smiled. Oh? Chrysanthemum Douluo was a little moved when he heard it. He hesitated for a few seconds and finally made a decision. Okay, kid, it's rare for you to ask me for help. I will call old Ghost, and we will accompany you this time. Okay. Then when do we leave? No hurry, let's go back to Ihun City first. The two decided on this. Okay, let's go back and rest. After the storm, Chu Ye and Qian Renxue changed a room and lay on the bed again. Chu Ye was lying on his side, holding Qian Renxue in his arms, and said with a look of disbelief, "Swear, I don't believe it. Someone is disturbing us this time." What if there is? Looking at Chu Ye's expression, Qian Renxue found it very funny. If there is, I will open the evil god space, and we will go inside. How about it? Chu Ye said with a smirk. Hate it. Is this how the evil god space is used? Qian Renxue's face turned red, clenched her fist, and gently hammered Chu Ye's chest. Okay, Chu Ye, let's start. Chu Ye held Qian Renxue's little fist, and his heart was already beating. Unexpectedly, Qian Renxue suddenly turned around and pressed Chu Ye on her body, occupying the upper part. This time, Qian Renxue took the initiative to kiss Chu Ye's lips, and it was not Chu Ye who took the initiative. Chu Ye, you, don't talk, lie down. Okay. Qian Renxue kissed Chu Ye gently. He had always been active, but this time he was completely passive. But what Chu Ye couldn't believe was that in the passive state, it was still particularly exciting. Extraordinarily different. After a while, the two of them were completely excited, and it was a critical moment. Qian Renxue still leaned on Chu Ye. The power between the soul guides was constantly colliding, and was on the edge of the martial soul fusion technique. Chu Ye, I can't tolerate it. You're scared. Let's use the martial soul fusion technique to suppress our backlash power. Chu Ye completely lost his composure. That's it, Chu Ye. Qian Renxue's face was slightly red. What, Chu Ye, are you going to do this? Well, Qian Renxue was extremely shy and responded softly, and then slowly opened the sugar and frost. Wait, Chu Ye, what are you waiting for? Qian Renxue had also completely lost his composure, and the next second, the terrifying power was released in time, and at that moment, the martial souls between the two completely began to fuse. Chu Ye. Shoot your eye. Qian Renxue gritted her teeth slightly, her face showing some pain, and Chu Ye started to perform the martial soul fusion technique thoroughly. She began to mobilize all her soul power in her waist, slowly moving the soul guide to inject power into it, suppressing the backlash power of Chu Ye's soul guide back and forth. Chu Ye couldn't let Qian Renxue silently pay one by one and perform the fusion technique alone. He condensed his soul power on his hands and pressed it on Qian Renxue's waist in an instant. Then he mobilized the terrifying soul power and condensed it on the soul guide, and launched a crazy power attack on Qian Renxue, who was frightening and kind to him. Bang! 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 Ah! Qian Renxue screamed in pain. 10 minutes later. Chu Ye. Chu Ye. Chu Ye released all his soul power to the limit, and the speed of performing the martial soul fusion technique reached the fastest and fastest frequency, and the crazy power impacted. Ah! The two screamed at the same time. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, the terrifying backlash energy on Chu Ye's soul guide device gushed out crazily, and the energy completely entered Qian Renxue's body and was completely absorbed by Qian Renxue's soul guide device, without a trace leaking out. After the rain, everything seemed to be quiet in an instant. The energy and physical strength required for the performance of the martial soul fusion technique and the suppression process of the soul guide device were too much, and at this moment, both of them were paralyzed on the ground. Chu Ye, the backlash power has finally been suppressed well, thank you for your hard work, Chu Ye. Chu Ye gently stroked Qian Renxue's hair, and the two of them stayed quietly for a while. But soon, Chu Ye's soul guide device once again showed terrifying backlash power. Qian Renxue was shocked. Chu Ye, why again? I don't know why there's Chu. This time, I will take the initiative to perform the martial soul fusion technique. Soon, the two of them started to perform crazy martial soul fusion techniques again. Chapter 107 Returning to Spirit Hall and meeting Bai Dong. Unconsciously, the sun slowly rose, and the sunlight from the first floor shone into the room from the window. The two lay there powerless. They had performed the martial soul fusion technique 7 times in total. The backlash of the soul guide was completely suppressed, and there would be no backlash. Chu Ye, you are too scary, and you don't know how to be gentle, a little rude. Qian Renxue felt that her whole body was in great pain. I'm sorry, Chu Ye, I got a little carried away. Next time, I will be gentler. Chu Ye looked apologetic. In that situation, he was a little unable to calm down and was easily impulsive. Okay, don't blame you, I can understand. Qian Renxue blushed. In fact, let alone Chu Ye, she almost lost herself in that situation. Thank you for your hard work, Chu Ye. Chu Ye gently held Qian Renxue in his arms. Qian Renxue quietly leaned on Chu Ye's chest. She slowly raised her head and said with her big watery eyes very seriously, Chu Ye, now, I belong to you completely. You said that you would treat me well for the rest of your life, right? Yes, I will always love you and treat you well. You will always be the most important person in my heart. Chu Ye responded to Qian Renxue's words with great affection. Qian Renxue nestled in his arms, leaning on Chu Ye's chest with a happy face, and fell asleep silently. Chu Ye hugged her silently, without making a sound or moving around. Just like that, he stayed there silently, and soon, he also fell asleep. This sleep, the two slept directly from 6 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon before waking up. The first thing Qian Renxue saw when she opened her eyes was Chu Ye, and she smiled sweetly. Chu Ye, are you awake? Move away quickly, my whole body is numb. Ah, why don't you move at all? Qian Renxue quickly moved away. Chu Ye let out a long sigh and explained, isn't it because I was afraid of waking you up? Then, he relaxed his stiff, numb body. Then Chu Ye suddenly thought of a question and asked nervously, Zhuye, do you think you will get pregnant? They didn't take any protective measures, so he was a little worried. In fact, he didn't want to have a child so soon. It's okay, I'm a dark fist weapon. Oh, so that's it. Yeah, okay, let's get up, wash up, and go back to Tiando City. Okay. The two got up, and soon, Qian Renxue kept shouting in pain. It hurts. What's wrong, Zhuye, where does it hurt? Qian Renxue's face turned red. Not yet, then oh, guess it yourself. I understand. Chu Ye understood instantly, and was very embarrassed to say. I know, I won't go back today, you can have a good rest here for a day. Well, that's the only way. Soon, after a day, Qian Renxue had recovered a lot. The three of them immediately set off and returned to Hun City. Many days later, Chu Ye, Qian Renxue, and Douluo finally returned to the Pope's palace. Holy Son. Your Highness the Holy Son. He and the young master are back. Let the Holy Son come to see them immediately. Bai said. Yes. Your Highness the Pope. A moment later, Chu Ye was summoned to see Bai Dong, and Qian Renxue was called by Qian Dalu. Afterwards, Chu Ye came to the hall where Bai Dong was. Liana, Yu, and Yan were still standing in the hall. Chu Ye, you're back. It had been nearly 2 years since Liana saw Chu Ye again. She was very happy and immediately walked in front of Chu Ye, taking care of her hair shyly. He found that Chu Ye was getting more and more handsome, the kind of handsomeness that made her heart beat. Chu Ye also took a look at Liana. She was already 13 years old, and she had developed almost in all aspects. She had a good figure and beautiful facial features, with a sense of charm that no other woman had. He just glanced at her and smiled faintly. Well, long time no see, Mana. Hey, Chu Ye. After saying that, Ye Bainzi passed by and came to Bai Dong and saluted slightly. Teacher, I'm back. Not bad, although your soul power has only increased by 1 level, you seem to have changed a lot. This trip to the city of slaughter should be very good. Bai Dong was very satisfied, looking at her most proud disciple in front of her. She suddenly found that Chu Ye was almost as tall as herself. My disciple has indeed gained a lot, and this trip is worthwhile. Chu Ye smiled. Come on, release your killing god domain for me to see. Okay, teacher. Killing god domain. A terrifying murderous aura rose, and the colorless domain energy instantly enveloped the entire hall. What a terrible murderous aura. The gap between us and him has widened again. Liana, Yu, and Yan were all shocked and felt very scared. Yes, your killing god domain is very strong, a bit stronger than when I first obtained it. Bai Dong nodded, and then said seriously. You have just obtained the killing god domain, and the murderous aura and hostility in you are too heavy. If you experience fighting and killing, you will be easily affected by the murderous aura. During this period of time, you should put aside the cultivation, calm down and cultivate your character, and adjust for a while. Well, I understand, teacher. Chu Ye nodded. Indeed, during the period when he first obtained the killing god domain, he was indeed easily affected by the killing god domain. It was reflected in the battle with Douluo's group of soul masters. It was easy to be full of murderous intent, which made him not so rational in battle and more likely to have impulsive behavior. The reason why he wanted to deal with Douluo after a while was that he wanted to come back to adjust for a while. Chu Ye, come walk with the teacher. The teacher hasn't had a good talk with you for a long time. Okay, teacher. Chu Ye and Bai Dong walked out of the hall. The master and apprentice strolled around the Pope's palace, talking and reminiscing about the past, and reconsolidating the relationship between the master and apprentice. After the end, Chu Ye and Qian Renxue returned home together. had already heard the news of Chu Ye and Qian Renxue's return. At this moment, she was already at the door of the house, waiting for Chu Ye to come back with anticipation. Brother Chu Ye. Seeing Chu Ye appear, rushed over excitedly and threw herself into Chu Ye's arms, tears welling up in her eyes. Brother Chu Ye, missed you so much. And finally waited for you to come back. And was only 8 years old, so Qian Renxue naturally did not regard her as a woman, nor was she unhappy because N hugged Chu Ye, but pretended to be unhappy and said, "Don't you miss me? I miss sisters Weir too." And then hugged Qian Renxue. 8-year-old N has grown a lot taller, lost some of her childishness, and her facial features are more three-dimensional, more delicate, and more beautiful. But she is still like a little girl, without much feminine flavor. Let's go in. Chu Ye and Qian Renxue each held one of N's little hands and stepped into the house. Chapter 108 Returning to Spirit Hall and meeting Bai Dong. The previous chapter of this chapter was blocked. Friends who read this later can come back in a few days. We're working on it. Unconsciously, the sun slowly rose, and the sunlight from the first floor shone into the room from the window. The two are a little exhausted. They performed the martial soul fusion technique 7 times in total. The backlash of the soul guide was completely suppressed and there would be no backlash. Chu Ye, you are too scary. And the martial soul fusion process requires gentleness. You also, Qian Renxue said weakly. I'm sorry, Zwe, I'm a little bit overwhelmed. Next time, I will perform the martial soul fusion technique gently. Chu Ye looked apologetic. In that situation, he was a little unable to calm down and was easily impulsive. Okay, don't blame you, I can understand. Qian Renxue blushed. In fact, let alone Chu Ye, she almost lost herself in that situation. Thank you for your hard work, Zwe. Chu Ye gently hugged Qian Renxue in his arms. Qian Renxue quietly leaned on Chu Ye's chest. She slowly raised her head and said with her big watery eyes very seriously, Chu Ye, now, I belong to you completely. You said that you would treat me well for the rest of my life, right? Yes, I will always love you and treat you well. You will always be the most important person in my heart. Chu Ye responded to Qian Renxue's words with great affection. Qian Renxue nestled in his arms, leaning on Chu Ye's chest with a happy face, and fell asleep silently. Chu Ye hugged her silently, without making a sound or moving around. Just like that, he stayed there silently, and soon, he also fell asleep. This sleep, the two slept directly from 6 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon before waking up. The first thing Qian Renxue saw when she opened her eyes was Chu Ye, and she smiled sweetly. Chu Ye, are you awake? Move away quickly, my whole body is numb. Why don't you push me away? Qian Renxue quickly moved away. Chu Ye let out a long sigh and explained, isn't it because I was afraid of waking you up? Then, he relaxed his stiff, numb body. Then Chu Ye suddenly thought of a question and asked nervously, Zwe, do you think you will get pregnant? He actually didn't want to have a child so soon. It's okay, I'm a dark fist weapon. Oh, so that's it. Yeah, well, let's get up, wash up, and set off back to Tiando City. Okay. The two got up, and soon, Qian Renxue's face frowned and felt pain. Chu Ye understood instantly, and was very embarrassed to say, I know, I won't go back today, you can have a good rest here for a day. Well, that's the only way. Soon, after a day, Qian Renxue had recovered a lot. The three of them immediately set off and returned to Hun City. Many days later, Chu Ye, Qian Renxue, and Douluo finally returned to the Pope's palace. Holy Sun. His Royal Highness the Holy Sun. And the young master are back. Let the Holy Sun come to see him immediately. Bai said. Yes. Your Holiness. A moment later, Chu Ye was summoned to see Bai Dong, while Qian Renxue was called by Qian Dalu. Afterwards, Chu Ye came to the hall where Bai Dong was. Liana, Shi Yu, and Yan were still standing in the hall. Chu Ye, you're back. It had been nearly 2 years since Liana saw Chu Ye again. She was very happy and immediately walked in front of Chu Ye, tidying up her hair a little shyly. She found that Chu Ye was getting more and more handsome, the kind of handsomeness that made her heart beat. Chu Ye also took a look at Liana. She was already 13 years old, and she had developed almost in all aspects. She had a good figure and beautiful facial features, with a kind of charm that no other woman had. He just glanced at her and smiled faintly. Well, long time no see, Mana. Hey, Chu Ye. After saying that, Ye Binzi passed by and came to Bai Bai Dong and saluted slightly. Teacher, I'm back. Not bad, although your soul power has only increased by 1 level, you seem to have changed a lot. This trip to the city of slaughter should be very good. Bai Bai Dong was very satisfied, looking at her most proud disciple in front of her. She suddenly found that Chu Ye was almost as tall as herself. My disciple has indeed gained a lot, and this trip is worthwhile. Chu Ye smiled. Come on, release your killing god domain for me to see. Okay, teacher. Killing god domain. A terrifying murderous aura arose, and the colorless domain energy instantly enveloped the entire hall. What a terrible murderous aura. The gap between us and him has widened again. Leona, Shiyu, and Yan were all shocked and felt very scared. Yes, your killing god domain is very strong, a bit stronger than when I first obtained it. Bai Bai Dong nodded, and then said seriously, you have just obtained the killing god domain, and the murderous aura and hostility in you are too heavy. If you experience fighting and killing, you will be easily affected by the murderous aura. During this period of time, you should put aside the cultivation, calm down and cultivate your character, and adjust for a while. Well, I understand, teacher. Chu Ye nodded. Indeed, during the period when he first obtained the killing god domain, he was indeed easily affected by the killing god domain. It was reflected in the battle with Douluo's group of soul masters. It was easy to be full of murderous intent, which made him not so rational in battle and more likely to have impulsive behavior. The reason why he wanted to deal with Douluo after a while was that he wanted to come back to adjust for a while. Chu Ye, come walk with the teacher. The teacher hasn't had a good talk with you for a long time. Okay, teacher. Chu Ye and Bai Bai Dong walked out of the hall. The master and apprentice strolled in the Pope's palace, communicating and reminiscing about the past, and reconsolidated the master-apprentice relationship. After the end, Chu Ye and Qian Renxue went home together. Had already learned about the return of Chu Ye and Qian Renxue. At this moment, she was already waiting for Chu Ye to come back at the door with expectation. Brother Chu Ye. Seeing Chu Ye appear, rushed over excitedly and threw herself into Chu Ye's arms, with tears in her eyes. Brother Chu Ye, missed you so much. And finally waited for you to come back. Qian was only 8 years old, and Qian Renxue naturally did not regard her as a woman, nor was she unhappy because N hugged Chu Ye, but pretended to be unhappy and said, don't you miss me? Miss sisters we're too. And then hugged Qian Renxue. 8-year-old N has grown a lot taller, and lost some of her childishness. Her facial features are more three-dimensional, more delicate, and more beautiful. But she is still like a little girl, without much femininity. Let's go in. Chu Ye and Qian Renxue each held one of N's hands and stepped into the house. Have they been good to you in the past 2 years? Qian Renxue asked gently. Because I can't send it, so until now. Chapter 109 Chu Ye's amazing blacksmith talent, master blacksmith of the Blacksmith Association. Very good, sisters Ware, don't worry. Said very obediently. In the past 2 years, has been taken care of by Qian Dalu's people. How could she not be taken good care of by Qian Renxue? In addition, N's innate soul power is level 20, and her talent is very amazing. She has long been the focus of the Spirit Hall's training. The soul power has also reached level 28. 8 years old, level 28, this is another demon level genius. But it is hard to say how long can stay in the Spirit Hall, because Chu Ye can't guess what will happen after N's Silver Dragon King memory is revived. Next, for a period of time, in order to alleviate the murderous influence brought by the killing god domain, Chu Ye and Qian Renxue temporarily put down their cultivation, mainly to adjust their mentality, psychology, and relieve their emotions. After all, such a powerful killing god domain is not so easy to control. You need to learn to do something that has nothing to do with fighting, some things in terms of self-cultivation, such as piano, chess, calligraphy and painting, or specialize in some life-assisting abilities to control it. So Chu Ye chose the profession of blacksmith and planned to go for further study. The power of the Spirit Hall is so huge. Although there is no blacksmith at the highest level of the God Craftsman, there are also blacksmith masters who are second only to the God Craftsman. Chu Ye used to go to learn from this blacksmith master when he was in the mood, but it was like fishing for 3 days and drying the net for 2 days. Although he had some ideas, he had never studied seriously for a long time. Now, he couldn't go to study in depth. Moreover, Qian Renxue's sword broke when she was fighting the 10-headed fiery sun snake on the Hell Road, and he also said that he would forge a good sword for her personally. In this way, Chu Ye and Qian Renxue started the days of self-cultivation. In addition to taking self-cultivation courses every day, Chu Ye also followed the blacksmith master of the spirit hall to learn the art of forging every day. Time passed day by day, and the murderous aura that was easily affected by the two was gradually fading. Half a year later, Chu Ye and Qian Renxue have almost completely adapted to the god of killing domain. Their soul power has also been raised from level 45 when they just came out of the city of slaughter to level 46. Qian Renxue has already reached the peak of level 49, and can break through level 50 within a week at most. At this moment, in the forging hall of the Pope's palace, in a forging room. Ding! 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 Chu Ye kept hitting with the hammer, and the half-finished sword on the forging table stopped after a while. At this time, the blacksmith master of the spirit hall also walked in. Chu Ye lifted it up and showed it to him. "Master Camel, take a look." "Not bad." "Very good, Your Highness." Camel took a closer look. With a look of great appreciation and admiration, he couldn't help but sigh from the bottom of his heart. "Your Highness, you're a natural blacksmith genius. Although you have occasionally studied with me before, you're only close to the level of a master blacksmith at most. But in just 6 months, you have followed me to study the art of forging seriously. Now your level, if you go to the Blacksmith Association for certification, you will definitely be a master blacksmith. In my opinion, it is even very close to the level of a Grand Master blacksmith. With your talent, in time, you will definitely reach the level of a master blacksmith. Become the 4th master blacksmith in the current continent." Master Camel was very excited. "Oh, Master Camel, you are so kind, so kind." Chu Ye smiled modestly, and then said, "If it weren't for Master Camel, you taught me everything you knew, generously, and without reservation, I wouldn't have achieved what I have now. It is my honor to be able to teach a genius like His Highness the Holy Sun. I hope you can continue to follow me for further study for a while." "Hey, Master Camel, I'm sorry, blacksmithing is just my side job, I still have to focus on Soul Master training." Chu Ye interrupted him. "Alas, what a pity." Camel sighed in his heart. For a blacksmith, it is so proud to be able to train a master craftsman by hand, and it feels very face-saving. In this way, he will also be very face-saving in the entire blacksmith world, so he actually hopes that Chu Ye will continue to learn from him. Chu Ye naturally saw through his thoughts and smiled. "Don't worry, Master Camel, I will continue to study forging when I have time during my free time. In the future, if I go to the Blacksmith Association for verification, I will also say that I learned from you." "Good. That's great, Your Highness." Camel was in a very happy mood, with a smile on his face. "By the way, Master Camel, you're a high-ranking blacksmith master among blacksmiths. You must know the president of the Blacksmith Association, Master Lu Jia, right?" Chu Ye suddenly asked. "Lu Jia, of course I know him. He and I are from the same school. Our relationship is not that good, just the relationship of ordinary brothers." Marmoa looked back and explained. "From the same school." Chu Ye was a little surprised. In this world dominated by soul masters, blacksmiths are not very respected, but they are also indispensable. After all, weapons, armor, and protective gear all need them to make. In the future, the role of blacksmiths is actually not small. For the Spirit Hall, it would be good if the Blacksmith Association could win over the Spirit Hall, but if it can't, it won't care much, because the Spirit Hall also has a lot of blacksmiths. However, Chu Ye knows that the Blacksmith Association can actually play an important role. The master craftsman Lu Jia can even create the 3 most powerful mechanical hidden weapons of the Tang sect, the Storm-Ped Blossom Needle, the Peacock Feather, and the Buddha's Wrath Tang Lotus. These 3 hidden weapons can kill titled Luo. In order to prevent Tang San from getting to know the master craftsman Lu Jia in the future and letting him create these 3 mechanical hidden weapons, Chu Ye intends to win over the Blacksmith Association. Although, to avoid this problem, Tang San can also be killed directly, but it is also good to have an option to avoid it. The joining of the Blacksmith Association can also bring benefits to the Spirit Hall, and it can also prevent it from joining the Empire when pressure is applied. I understand, Master Camel, then my days of learning from you will come to an end for the time being. Please take care of this sword for me first, and I will continue forging it when I come back. Okay, Your Highness, don't worry, I will take good care of it. Sorry for the trouble. Chu Ye entrusted the unfinished sword to Camel and said goodbye to Camel and left. Now that he has completely controlled the Killing God domain, it is time to go to the Sunset Forest to completely deal with Douluo and obtain the fairy grass there. When Chu Ye bid farewell to his forging career, Qian Renxue also happened to break through to level 50. She communicated with Chu Ye through her mind and shared this matter with Chu Ye with great joy. Chu Ye, I broke through level 50. Okay, then Chu Ye, you'll soon be a 5-ring Soul King. Chu Ye smiled. Chapter 110. With Chrysanthemum, Ghost Duo, fighting to Sunset Forest. Where are you now? Are you still in the blacksmith hall? No, I just came out and am about to go back. Okay, let's meet at your house. Okay. The two exchanged a few words and ended their spiritual communication. A moment later, they arrived at Chu Ye's doorstep almost at the same time. Chu Ye. Qian Renxue waved her hand, trotted to Chu Ye's side, and told him the plan. I plan to set off tomorrow to get the spirit ring in the Douluo Great Forest. Grandpa will take me there personally. That's just right. Tomorrow I will take Douluo and Ghost Duo to the Sunset Forest. We will split up. You get the spirit ring and I will deal with Douluo. Then you must be careful. If there is an emergency, don't be too strong. I know, don't worry. Qian Renxue just gave a warning and didn't worry too much. With Douluo and Ghost Duo, 2 level 95 titled Duos, by Chu Ye's side, there would be no problem even if a Douluo was not killed. As our strength continues to increase, the effect of the power sharing of the life and death contract will become stronger and stronger. With the power sharing turned on, with your current situation, the 5th ring, it is no problem to absorb a soul beast with a cultivation of 50,000 years. When the time comes, ask your grandfather to find you a soul beast of 50,000 years. Chu Ye analyzed and gave a suggestion. Okay, I know. The next day, Chu Ye and Qian Renxue prepared separately. Qian Renxue followed Qian Dalu to the Douluo Great Forest to obtain soul rings, while Chu Ye took Douluo and Ghost Duo to the Sunset Forest. Chu Ye secretly left the city with Douluo and Ghost Duo, wearing a black cloak. After all, the Tiando Empire sent Douluo to assassinate Chu Ye once some time ago, worried about the revenge of the Spirit Hall. Although half a year has passed, there must be a lot of spies along the way. It is a special period, and it must be secretive, otherwise it is very easy to be exposed before arriving at the Sunset Forest. On the way, Chu Ye brought 2 titled Duo, 20, and said while moving forward quickly, Elder Yuligan, Elder Gaimaya, this trip is to Sunset Forest. After Douluo is killed by us, no matter what you see inside, I hope that only the 3 of us know. Understood. Douluo and Douluo looked at each other and nodded solemnly, but they were a little confused. What can they see? What is there to keep secret? But they didn't ask much. After all, in terms of status, Chu Ye's status as a Saint Son is already higher than that of ordinary elders. In addition to the 3 of them, the only people who knew about this operation were Bai Dong and Qian Renxue. The 3 of them went there secretly, and after many days, they were about to arrive near the Sunset Forest. The Tiando Empire was indeed prepared, and deployed scouts in the area outside the Sunset Forest to protect Douluo's safety. But this kind of protection can only defend against large-scale armies or small-scale spirit master teams. It is difficult to defend against titled Douluo. The 3 found a suitable location and easily sneaked into the Sunset Forest. Hurry! The 3 of them advanced rapidly in the Sunset Forest, and soon arrived at the poisonous fog forest. The Sunset Forest is a very dangerous gathering place for soul beasts, and is also known as a forbidden area for humans. It can be said that, except for Douluo's family, almost no one has ever entered it. Because the danger here is not only the poisonous soul beasts that are basically above the 1,000-year level, but also the poisonous fog forest. The inner area of the entire Sunset Forest is full of green poisonous fog, and this kind of poisonous fog, even a titled Douluo like Douluo, can be easily corroded by the poisonous fog and poisoned if he is not careful, not to mention fighting in the poisonous fog. This is also one of the reasons why Douluo did not come to deal with Douluo even though he clearly had a personal grudge with Douluo and was much stronger than Douluo. Elder Yuligan, Elder Gaimaya, this is the medicine that the Pope personally made for me to dispel the poisonous fog. After the 3 of us take it, we will rush directly to the central area, where there is no poisonous fog. Chu Ye took out 3 black pills and handed them to Douluo and Ghost Duo respectively. Chu Ye took it first, and Douluo and Ghost Duo took it without hesitation. Let's go. The 3 of them rushed directly into the poisonous fog forest. At this time, Chu Ye's soul power suddenly began to increase inexplicably, from level 46 to level 47. He was not surprised, but smiled and communicated with Qian Renxue. Where the absorption of the fifth soul ring is over, it is increased by several levels. Qian Renxue was very happy and replied, "Level 53. My soul power has directly broken through to level 53. Not bad, not bad, my soul power is far behind Where again. TSK, if I give you another year or two, you might surpass me. By the way, how is your progress? We have entered the poisonous fog range of the Sunset Forest and will soon reach the central area. Okay, then I won't worry about you, be careful and wait for you to come back." Yeah. The two ended their communication. Chu Ye also retracted his thoughts and followed Zhuangyi's footsteps into the central area of the Sunset Forest. At this moment, Douluo was in the central area of the Sunset Forest, practicing poison attacks at the yin yang of ice and fire. He did go to Tiando City to hide for a while, and when he saw that the Spirit Hall had not taken any action, he came back. Chu Ye, as you said, the central area is not covered by poisonous fog. Douluo's face lit up. They had never entered the central area of the Sunset Forest, so how could they know if there was any poisonous fog inside? This is the residence where Douluo practiced poison attack. How could he let this place be covered by poisonous fog? Chu Ye smiled faintly, looking at the huge stone wall in front of him. His eyes instantly showed murderous intent, and there was also a hint of expectation. Perhaps some people know that the yin-yang of ice and fire is one of the three treasure pots, a rare springer that is rarely seen, and the effects it can bring. But it is estimated that no one in the entire mortal world knows how the yin-yang of ice and fire is formed. In fact, this yin-yang of ice and fire is the most powerful animal god in the ancient times of the god realm, the son of the dragon god. Among the 9 sons of the dragon god, the ice dragon king and the fire dragon king fell here at the same time, forming the yin-yang of ice and fire. Under the deep bottom of this yin-yang of ice and fire, the remains of the powerful dragons, the ice dragon king and the fire dragon king are buried. Those precious and rare immortal herds were born for this reason, growing near the yin-yang of ice and fire. Douluo watched the battle around him. In front of him was a big pit that was smashed by a huge meteorite, surrounded by stone walls on all sides. He couldn't see the entrance for the time being, and said in a hoarse voice, "Your Highness, how do we get in? There should be a hole nearby, and this hole can lead to it. We just need to look for it." Chapter 111 Douluo. A soul sect member, you don't really think you can kill me, a titled Douluo, alone, right? The three of them searched quickly along the stone wall, and in a few minutes they found the cave leading into it. "Your Highness, we found it, it's there." "Wait. It's not impossible that Douluo has set up a poison array at the entrance or inside the cave. You stand behind me, I have a way to deal with it," Chu Ye said, and then he took out the inner elixir of the 10-headed fiery sun snake again. Then he took the lead and stepped into the entrance of the cave. This cave led to it. The tunnel of the cave is round and twisted, as if it was drilled out by a huge snake. It must be the cave that Douluo's green-scaled snake king drilled out. Because the tunnel of the cave is twisted and crooked, it is impossible to see the end, but there is wind flowing. Judging from this, it is about 100 meters long. When the three of them stepped into it, as expected, a green light array flashed on the ground. This was the poison array set up by Douluo. Chu Ye immediately activated the inner elixir of the 10-headed fiery sun snake. The inner elixir flashed a strong golden aura, and instantly dissolved the poison array. At the same time, Poison Douluo, who was practicing poison attack in the yin-yang of ice and fire, opened his eyes instantly. When he was about to release his mental power to find out the situation, Chu Ye, Douluo, and Ghost Douluo were already standing in front of Douluo. "It's you." Douluo's face darkened instantly. "Douluo, when you attacked me, you should have thought that there would be such a day." Chu Ye's expression was cold, and he slowly released the sword of God and demon, full of murderous intent, saying, "Today, your death is coming. Ha 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 ha. Even if I can't beat you and keep beside you, it's not that easy to kill me." Douluo laughed loudly, and then his face suddenly became sinister, as emotionless as a snake, but his feet were secretly preparing to escape. There was no way for him, a level 92 titled Douluo, to fight 2 level 95 titled Douluos. If he fought for a few rounds, he would really die here. However, he was determined to escape at all costs from the beginning, and he was 70% sure that he could escape to Tiando City not far away. "Douluo, you don't think you can still escape, do you?" Chu Ye smiled faintly, and said no more. He slowly raised his hand, pointed at Douluo and waved, one word, "Go." "Yes." The two rushed towards Douluo. Douluo also turned and fled at that moment. 5th soul skill, gathering of cold flowers. Chrysanthemum Douluo summoned a chrysanthemum flying blade and controlled the flying blade to cut away. 5th soul skill, 100 ghosts at night. Ghost Douluo instantly released hundreds of black ghost clones, and his body speed also increased instantly. Chu Ye would naturally not be unmoved. The next second, he released the wings of the dragon god and flapped his wings to kill. Chrysanthemum Douluo controlled the chrysanthemum flying blade and continued to attack Douluo. Although he failed to hit him, it also slowed down his escape speed, which gave Ghost Douluo time to catch up. Ghost Douluo was like a ghost, quickly passing through the air, and soon blocked in front of Douluo. Bang! With one strike, he intercepted Douluo and forced him to retreat. At this time, Chu Ye was less than 20 meters away from Douluo. Ghost Douluo was in front, Chrysanthemum Douluo was far behind, and Chu Ye and Douluo stood in the middle. The two of them were the closest. But even in this case, Douluo could actually use the green scale mystery soul formation to distance himself and escape for the second time. But he was hesitating, because this was also a great opportunity to kill Chu Ye. If he hit with all his strength now, he might be able to kill Chu Ye, and Chrysanthemum Douluo and Ghost Douluo would find it difficult to stop him in time. But Douluo didn't know that this cap was actually planned by Chu Ye a long time ago, and deliberately left for Douluo to kill himself. Because, in Douluo's eyes, Chu Ye was just a soul sect. Even though Chu Ye and Qian Renxue showed a powerful martial soul fusion skill, the god and demon angel, during the assassination that day. But that was only the power of two people, and Douluo had never seen Chu Ye's personal strength. For a titled Douluo, how could he not have this confidence to kill a soul sect in an instant? Boy, you, a soul sect member, dare to join in the battle between titled Douluo. Then I will kill you first. Douluo made a decision immediately. A terrifying murderous aura suddenly burst out from his body, and he condensed a blow that could kill Chu Ye. Go to hell, boy. Douluo pounced like a snake, but he suddenly saw that Chu Ye's face was not panicked, but even a smile appeared on his face. This made Douluo's heart tremble. For some reason, he had a bad premonition in his heart. Hee, Douluo, you have fallen into the trap. Chu Ye smiled evilly. Dark Demon Evil God Tiger Head Soul Bone Skill. Evil God Space. A black tiger head soul bone appeared on Chu Ye's head. The soul bone instantly released a black vortex, which directly distorted the surrounding space and quickly enlarged it. This is not good. Douluo didn't understand what skill this was, but he could foresee that he must not be pulled in. You can't escape, Douluo, come in. Douluo had already fallen into the black vortex and it was impossible to break free. Elder Unicorn, Elder Gaimaya, you two should wait outside. If I cannot kill him alone, I will take the initiative to contact the evil god space, and then you can take action. Chu Ye left a last sentence, and then he and Douluo entered the evil god space at the same time. The two stood in the large life and death arena, 50 meters apart. Douluo looked around vigilantly. In this space, except that his own attributes were under pressure and his strength was weakened a little, there seemed to be no special effects. He was also looking for an exit, but after looking around, the space was extremely precise and there was no possibility of escape. Don't look, unless I take the initiative to contact the evil god space, or you kill me, otherwise you can't escape. Chu Ye's cold voice sounded in this space. Heh, you deliberately left me a chance to attack you, just to pull me into this space. Douluo was not stupid, and he had guessed it. That's right, in the evil god space, you have no way to escape, you can only fight. Chu Ye came to kill Douluo for one reason. At the same time, he also wanted to borrow Douluo's power to see if he could kill the titled Douluo alone with all his strength, so before coming, he had thought about it, to fight Douluo alone. Kill him if you can, if you can't, let Poison Douluo and Ghost Douluo take action to ensure that Douluo must die. Ha 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 ha. Is it me who has no way to escape, or you? Kid Douluo laughed coldly. He really didn't understand why he did this. Chrysanthemum Douluo and Ghost Douluo couldn't get in from outside. Chu Ye, a soul sect, was fighting him alone? Are you kidding? This kid, don't think that he, a soul sect, can kill a level 92 titled Douluo alone? Sorry, I was late for the update today because of something I had to do. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 112 Chu Ye fights level 92 Poison Douluo. I can't figure out what your intention is in pulling me into this evil god space. Although it can weaken my strength and increase your strength, you won't be so arrogant as to think that you can kill me with the strength of a soul sect with this effect. Douluo couldn't feel that the evil god space had any other effects besides the weakening and amplification effects, but if it was really such a soul sect, how dare it? So, this made Douluo a little confused, because he knew that the young man in front of him would not make such a stupid strategy, and it was impossible for him to do so without any certainty. But he really couldn't think of where the certainty was. So, Douluo's words were also testing. Can't figure it out? You don't have to test it. To tell you the truth, there is no trick or intention. I just think that I can kill you with my strength. Chu Ye said this seemingly plain words very calmly. But how arrogant it sounded to Douluo. This also made Douluo feel that he had never been despised before, and it was even an insult to him. He laughed, very loudly. Ha ha. Ha ha ha. Even if my personal combat power is the lowest among all titled Douluo, I'm also a titled Douluo. You were a fool who doesn't know how to live or die. You were just a soul sect and you dare to try to fight a titled Douluo. I want to see how you can do it. Titled Douluo. So what if you were a titled Douluo? Just watch Douluo and see how I fight a titled Douluo with the power of a soul sect. Chu Ye's expression was firm, and a strong fighting spirit ignited from him. God and Demon Sword Intention. Power Sharing. Dragon God Wings. Second Soul Skill, God and Demon Sword Body. Killing God Domain. Chu Ye started with Sword Intention, Power Sharing, External Soul Bones, Soul Amplification Skills, Domain, and most of his trump cards. At this moment, his breath, aura, and power were rising rapidly, directly releasing him to the strongest combat state he could get. This kid, looking at the aura that surged on Chu Ye, Douluo felt terrified on his face. This terrified him not because he was afraid of Chu Ye's current strength, but because he was afraid of Chu Ye's talent. And the future of Chu Ye after he grew up. It was not until now that Douluo realized that the boy standing in front of him was such a talented soul master. Based on his current level, Douluo felt that Chu Ye could kill a soul saint alone, and even fight with soul Douluo level strongmen. In time, no, perhaps in less than 10 years, ordinary titled Douluos may not be a big deal in his eyes. Such a genius must be wiped out. Otherwise, it will become a big problem in the future. This is Douluo's strongest thought at the moment. So that's it, you're indeed a very evil genius, and you do have the ability to challenge across great realms. No wonder you are so conceited, but it is far from enough to defeat a titled Douluo. Douluo was also in pain of the terrible aura. The real body of the green-scaled Snake King. Tear and roar. Douluo directly released the martial soul real body, and the huge green-scaled Snake King appeared under his feet. Phoenix Fire. A huge flaming phoenix also appeared behind Chu Ye. This quality. 100,000-year soul bone. Douluo's face condensed, and his eyes also revealed greed. Good guy, this kid is not only talented, but also has a 10,000-year soul bone and a 100,000-year soul bone blessing. Seeing Chu Ye release the soul bone soul skill, Douluo subconsciously alert and guarded. The phoenix soared into the sky, but did not attack Douluo, but directly fell to the ground, and soon turned into a huge fire circle. The fire circle is constantly spewing flames to attack Douluo. Until now, Chu Ye has laid the groundwork for the strongest battle opportunity. Restricted soul bone skills. My soul power and physical strength are rapidly consumed in this flame. Douluo kept resisting the fireball attack, his face slightly solemn. This consumption speed is too fast. If the time is delayed too long, he may really die in the hands of this kid. He finally launched the attack without hesitation, driving the giant snake to bite. First soul skill, light and dark fusion slash. Rest. Bang. Two terrifying forces collided with each other, and the two finally started fighting and confronting each other. First soul skill, green scale poison fire. Ha. Bang, bang, bang. Douluo's body continued to spurt out green poisonous fire. Chu Ye quickly ran to dodge one by one, and kept closing the distance between him and Douluo while running. Then he suddenly burst out and jumped, slashing with a sword. Bang! Douluo blocked Chu Ye's domineering sword with just one palm. His soul power formed a solid defense layer that could not be split at all. Here, this is the huge gap between soul powers. A soul master wants to hurt me. Wishful thinking. Ha! Bang! Douluo knocked Chu Ye back with a punch. Chu Ye stabilized his posture, but was also knocked back 10 meters by a punch. Even if this fire circle can quickly consume soul power, the person whose soul power will be exhausted first will only be you, kid. You can't beat me by endurance consumption. Douluo launched a fierce attack, punching Chu Ye one punch after another, launching a continuous melee attack. Bang! 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 Chu Ye held the sword of gods and demons in his hand and resisted Douluo's offensive with all his strength. The two of them launched a fierce melee fight in this life and death arena. Chu Ye began to fall into Douluo's melee attack rhythm and could only barely defend himself, but after fighting for several rounds, he began to gradually grasp Douluo's attack rhythm, and while defending, he could already counterattack. The two fought fiercely in close combat, with fists and swords constantly colliding and fighting. The speed of the two shots was very fast, almost reaching a level that the naked eye could hardly keep up with. They were equally matched, and it was hard to tell who was better. Ha! Chu Ye swung the sword of gods and demons, blocking Douluo's punch again. His elbow suddenly turned, and the sword hit Douluo's abdomen and stabbed. Get out! Bang! Chu Ye stabbed Douluo's abdomen with a sword, but unfortunately the opponent reacted quickly and quickly used his huge soul power to protect it. He didn't stab his body, but only forced Douluo back with a sword. This kid has an amazing fighting consciousness. In a short confrontation, he was completely suppressed by me at the beginning, and now he almost made me suffer. Douluo was still frightened and his face was ugly. After this wave of fierce melee fighting, his physical strength has been consumed a lot, and the fire circle is still accelerating his physical strength. Douluo knows that he can't continue like this and must change his strategy. Chu Ye is not in a hurry at all. Even if his physical strength and soul power are exhausted, he can still use the passive effect of the Phoenix to restore 60% of his physical strength and soul power. The fire circle will also continue to consume Douluo's physical strength and soul power. Playing a protracted war on endurance, he can still afford it. Chapter 113. Cutting off a Douluo's arm. But Douluo couldn't afford to play with this. Because, if he didn't kill Chu Ye as soon as possible, and consume too much physical and spiritual power here, then even if a Douluo killed Chu Ye, it was very likely that he would not be able to escape alive from the hands of Douluo and Ghost Douluo. The fourth soul skill, the green scale soul bewitching ray. Douluo was finally going to get serious, and Chu Ye had to go all out and focus on Douluo. The next second, Douluo suddenly disappeared from the spot. So fast. When Chu Ye reacted, Douluo came behind him almost like teleportation. Bang! Chu Ye blocked a punch, but Douluo changed his position again. He attacked several times in a row. Bang! Ugh! In mid-air, Chu Ye was hit to the ground by a punch, and Douluo followed closely and punched down. Chu Ye dodged in time and hit a light slash. Douluo easily dodged and released the third soul skill, green scale strangulation. Dark slash. Chu Ye also hit a sword at that moment. Puff. What? Douluo released the third soul skill, strangling snake, but it was cut off by Chu Ye's sword. This was obviously only the power of the first soul skill. In the evil god space, the strongest amplification effect is my dark attribute moves. Here, my dark slash is even more powerful than the fifth soul skill of ordinary soul masters. While Douluo was still shocked, a black soul ring had risen under Chu Ye's feet. Third soul skill, 36 consecutive slashes of gods and demons. Chu Ye flanked the wings of the dragon god and slashed with a sword. Sixth soul skill, green scale snake king poison. Douluo, you really don't remember. Chu Ye sneered and took out the golden elixir of the 10-headed scorching sun snake again. The snake venom light was once again dissolved by the golden elixir. Damn, what is this golden bead? My poison skills are completely ineffective in front of it. Douluo's face was ferocious, and he faced Chu Ye's slash head-on. Chu Ye's face flashed an indistinguishable smile. Anyone who dared to face his 36 consecutive slashes of gods and demons head-on would be hit. Douluo is not stupid, and his strategy is not wrong. The mistake is that he does not understand Chu Ye and Chu Ye's soul skills. But Chu Ye knows Douluo's ability and soul skills very well, which is his biggest advantage in fighting Douluo, a titled Douluo. As the saying goes, knowing yourself and knowing your enemy will lead to victory in every battle. Knowing your opponent, while your opponent does not know you, this kind of battle can greatly increase your chances of winning. It can even be a decisive factor. Puff. When Chu Ye's sword touched Douluo's body, it disappeared instantly. What's going on? Second slash. Chu Ye slashed from the left instantly. Bang. After Douluo blocked it, Chu Ye disappeared again and slashed from the upper angle. His speed has increased so much at once. Could it be a combo soul skill? 5th slash. 6th slash. 7th slash. Chu Ye slashed Douluo frantically. Douluo could still resist and deal with it, but as Chu Ye's number of consecutive slashes continued to increase, his speed, strength, and lethality became stronger and stronger. Douluo gradually became a little overwhelmed, and he wanted to get out of this attack range. But it was often the case that he was more likely to be chopped, because once the consecutive slashes started, they would not stop. The 10th consecutive slash. Puff. Ah. Douluo was accidentally slashed in the back by a sword because he chose to get out. What a weird soul skill. Douluo had already discovered the weirdness of this soul skill. The more he wanted to get out of this range, the easier it was to get hurt. He could only bite the bullet and block it. The 15th consecutive slash. The 20th consecutive slash. The 25th consecutive slash. Puff. Ah. Douluo was slashed by Chu Ye again. The 26th consecutive slash. The 27th consecutive slash. Puff. Ah. Next, Douluo was almost slashed by a sword every time he blocked a sword, until the 30th consecutive slash. Douluo was completely in a state of being slashed. 30 cuts. 31. 32. 33. 34. 35. 36th cut. Ah, ha 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 ha, so refreshing. You are worthy at being a titled Douluo. This kind of battle is really exciting. Chu Ye, who was obviously seriously injured, not only did not worry about the current situation, but even laughed, a kind of crazy laugh. Because in his bones, he is actually a battle maniac. The more intense the battle, the more excited and crazy he is. At this moment, Chu Ye felt that his whole blood was surging and boiling. He had not experienced such a battle with the edge of death and fighting with all his strength for a long time. Even in the City of Slaughter, he had never experienced it. He stood up from the ground with some difficulty, and once again clenched the sword of gods and demons in his hand, with a fierce look on his face. Didn't you say that I, a soul sect, couldn't hurt you? Now, why are you so miserable, Douluo? I admit that I underestimated you, kid. Although you cut off one of my arms, you have been seriously injured by me. You'll definitely die next. 8th soul skill. Douluo mobilized his huge soul power again. God of Death domain skill, God of Death assault. Phoenix trunk bone 2nd skill. God of Death. Through the God of Death assault, Chu Ye increased the power of the skill and directly used a 100,000-year-old, single target locking attack soul bone skill. The huge phoenix appeared again, like a rapid fire. Boom. Two terrifying powerful energies, madly confronted. Douluo's 8th soul skill was also resolved by Chu Ye. Even my 8th soul skill can't kill this kid. Douluo has never been forced into such a forbidden area by a soul master, let alone a soul master, even a soul Douluo. But it doesn't matter, Chu Ye is already seriously injured, and his condition is almost at the limit. In fact, except for a broken arm and several cuts on his body, it doesn't actually have much impact on his body's movements, and his condition is still. Don't struggle anymore, your body and soul power are almost at the limit, right? You were at the end of the road. Chapter 114 Cutting off another arm, Douluo was chased and hacked. It's over, kid. A genius like you will have no problem becoming a titled Douluo, or even a top titled Douluo in the future. Unfortunately, today, you will eventually fall in the hands of me, Douluo. What's the use of a genius without growth? Go to hell. Douluo attacked with all his strength, intending to kill Chu Ye instantly, but just as his power hit Chu Ye, the phoenix appeared behind Chu Ye again. What? Douluo was stunned. Do you think you really won? Chu Ye smiled evilly. His body, which was almost on the verge of death, seemed to begin to recover rapidly, reborn from the ashes. Chu Ye's soul power was recovering rapidly, directly recovering 60%, and at the same time rebounding 60% of Douluo's power to fight back against the enemy. Bang. Boom. Ah. Douluo was severely injured by his own 60% power, and blood was flowing all over his body. Fallen? I'm less than 14 years old, but I don't want to die so soon. Chu Ye smiled, and as his physical strength and soul power recovered by 60%, he now felt full of strength again. How could it be? How could it be? Douluo was about to collapse. How could he not be killed after being beaten like this? Not only could he not be killed, but he actually recovered from the special situation. Is he so perverted? Damn it. Douluo couldn't afford to waste anymore. If he continued to waste, even if he really killed Chu Ye, he would definitely not be able to escape the pursuit of Douluo and Ghost Douluo when he went out. I don't believe it. Your golden bead can still block my poison. 9th soul skill, green scale divine light. I will fill your evil god space with my green scale snake venom. Drink. Douluo's body instantly erupted with terrible poison. This was his most toxic and powerful poison-based group move. If this couldn't kill Chu Ye, then he would have to die with Chu Ye. The 9th soul skill? Chu Ye looked at the overwhelming poison that permeated the entire evil god space and stood quietly. This was the poison soul skill that Douluo used to massacre a city in Chu Ye's memory, which was the 9th soul skill. It can be said that the poison was extremely strong. The entire city under the title Douluo could be poisoned to death in an instant. Such a person must not be left alive. Douluo must die today. He once again activated the inner elixir of the 10-headed scorching sun snake. Under the protection of the inner elixir, he was not attacked by the poison. This made Chu Ye understand that the victory and defeat had been decided. Douluo could not accept that his poison could be neutralized by a beat, which made him feel very frustrated and unwilling. I, Douluo, have practiced poison all my life, but I can't even poison a soul sect. Tell me, what is the golden bead in your hand? Then let you die knowingly. This is the inner elixir of the prehistoric beast, the head of all beasts, the 10-headed scorching sun snake. It can break all snake venom. 10-headed scorching sun snake can break all snake venom. If it weren't for this inner elixir, you would not be my opponent, but if I were to die, I would not die in your hands. Really? In fact, this is not my strongest power. Chu Ye's breath strengthened again, and an extreme dark energy emanated from his body. Secretly believe. It is the night. The black energy surrounded him. When the darkness dissipated, Chu Ye's appearance had changed. He turned into a demon again, and the sword in his hand turned into a dark magic sword. Coupled with the increase in the dark attribute of the evil god space, Chu Ye's combat power at this moment is truly equivalent to that of a low-level titled Douluo. It's just that the dark faith form can't last long, so he used it now. What kind of monster is this kid? He actually has a trump card. At this moment, Douluo felt that he would really die in Chu Ye's hands, he would really die in the hands of a soul master. Douluo, die. Chu Ye swayed his body and rushed forward quickly, slashing at Douluo crazily. The Dark Faith's fighting style was extremely crazy, that is, the kind of fighting style that is not afraid of death, blood for blood. Douluo, who was already seriously injured and had an arm broken, could no longer resist Chu Ye's crazy slashing at this moment. He was beaten back step by step, fleeing everywhere, and being chased and slashed in the life and death arena. Douluo never thought that one day he would be so embarrassed and be chased and slashed by a teenage soul master. Medusa's gaze. 2 rays of light shot out to temporarily hold Chu Ye back, and Douluo quickly attacked and blasted Chu Ye away. Douluo screamed and pursued the victory. Shadow burst. Bang. Black energy instantly rose from the ground, directly knocking Douluo's body upwards, interrupting the rhythm of the attack. Chu Ye jumped up. Brutal rip. He slashed wildly at Douluo's chest. Puff. Puff. Douluo screamed. Cutting directly from the sky to the ground, Douluo once again knocked Chu Ye away, but he was already covered in wounds and on the verge of death. A lot of blood kept flowing out of his body. He couldn't hold on for much longer. Violent blade. Puff. Douluo's other arm was also cut off by Chu Ye. Die. Chu Ye attacked like a devil, intending to pierce Douluo's heart with a sword and kill him instantly. But at this moment... Wait. At this moment, Douluo had already kneeled on the ground, not because he wanted to kneel, but because his legs could no longer support his body. His arms were broken and bleeding continuously. He raised his head and stopped Chu Ye with pleading eyes. Chu Ye stopped and looked at Douluo, who was kneeling on the ground and almost dying, with a cold face. Why, you, a 92nd level titled Douluo, want to beg for mercy from me? If so, I really look down on you, Douluo. How can I, Douluo, be afraid of death? Ahem. Douluo said, blood still flowing from his mouth. He said the last sentence and let go of his arrogant attitude all his life. He knocked his head directly to the ground, knelt down and begged. I, Douluo, am not afraid of death, but I beg you, can you let my granddaughter, Douluo, go? Why should I let her go? If you die in my hands, your granddaughter will definitely take revenge on me. Why should I keep an enemy who wants to kill me every day? Chu Ye said indifferently to Douluo, who was begging him. Douluo regretted it very much at this moment. Why did he provoke the holy son of the spirit hall? Why did he want to kill this monster? His granddaughter was just beaten. This kind of hatred was not enough to reach the point of life and death. But his extremely protective character and his eagerness to protect his granddaughter pushed him and his granddaughter Douluo into the abyss. But now he must do his best to protect his granddaughter. With your talent, my granddaughter will never be able to catch up with you in several lifetimes. She can't threaten you. Let her soul bone go. I can use the soul bone to exchange with you to save her life. Chapter 115. Killing Douluo, the ultimate flower king. Acacia heartbroken red. Douluo could not think of anything else to exchange. Money, treasures, and immortal herbs. Chu Ye could take them away after he died. How could the son of the spirit hall lack money? Only soul bones were more valuable and easier to attract people. If I kill you, won't the Medusa soul bone on your body also be mine? Chu Ye said, how could I, Douluo, only have one soul bone in my life? I have 4,000-year soul bones hidden in one place. If you are willing to let my granddaughter go, those soul bones will be yours. Is that okay? Looking at Douluo kneeling on the ground, kowtowing and begging him, he had been arrogant and proud all his life. When had he ever bowed so humbly, even in death? He was unwilling to lower himself for her. But Douluo was indeed the weak spot of this old poisoner. 4,000-year-old soul bones in exchange for your granddaughter's life, I promise you. Chu Ye actually never thought about killing Douluo. As long as she stayed quiet, he would not kill Douluo. Just like Douluo said, Douluo was not a threat to him. My soul bone is hidden there. Soon, Douluo told the location of the soul bone. Do you have any last words? If you have a chance to see my granddaughter, please tell her not to seek revenge. Not to seek revenge, I understand. Chu Ye replied with the last sentence, and then without hesitation, he cut off Douluo's head with a sword. Puff. Blood spurted out, and Douluo's head fell to the ground, lying in a pool of blood. A generation of titled Douluo fell, and died under Chu Ye's sword. Recalling the battle with Douluo just now, Chu Ye had already deeply understood his current strength. He was still a little weak to fight against a titled Douluo. He retracted his power and shook his head. My power is still not enough to defeat a titled Douluo. If I didn't have the inner elixir of the 10-headed fiery sun snake, if I wasn't familiar with Douluo, and Douluo wasn't familiar with me, I'm afraid I wouldn't be a match for a low-level titled Douluo like Douluo. If he really relied on his own strength, and the other party also knew all of his skills, Chu Ye knew that if he fought Douluo again, he would never be able to kill Douluo alone. Therefore, his current strength is not enough to defeat any titled Douluo. To become stronger, you need to become stronger. Chu Ye picked up the head soul bone that Douluo dropped, the 40,000-year-old Medusa soul bone, and then temporarily put it into the space soul guide, and unlocked the evil god space. The evil god space was unlocked, and Douluo and Ghost Douluo looked at Douluo, who was covered in blood, his arms were cut off, and his head fell to the ground. Douluo and Ghost Douluo were extremely shocked. They looked at Chu Ye with eyes that looked at a monster. This kid actually killed Douluo. Incredible. So terrifying. What a monster. He is obviously less than 14 years old and is obviously at the soul sect level. Douluo and Ghost Douluo couldn't calm down for a long time. They all knew that Chu Ye's achievements would far exceed theirs in time. This completely convinced Chu and Ghost Douluo, and they couldn't help but be in awe. Master of the Holy Sun Palace, your injuries are worse. Ghost Douluo's attitude was obviously much more respectful. It doesn't matter. Chu Ye waved his hand and looked northwest. You should have felt that there is something unusual ahead. Yes. Douluo and Ghost Douluo had already felt the innate place of the yin-yang of ice and fire in front, but they didn't dare to leave. They had to stay here at any time and wait for Chu Ye to come out. Come with me. Elder Unicorn, the big surprise I said I would give you is just ahead. Let's go. Chu Ye took the lead and rushed to the yin-yang of ice and fire. Soon the three of them stood on a high point, looking at the springs of fire and ice below, as well as the fairy grass growing near the yin-yang of ice and fire. Douluo's eyes widened in surprise. There are so many precious and exotic flowers and plants here. Douluo knew a lot about immortal grass. He could tell at a glance that the immortal grass here was unusual, and even each one was priceless. Elder Unicorn, look, what is that? Chu Ye pointed to a white and red immortal grass that emitted a faint red light. Douluo looked in the direction of Chu Ye's finger, and soon Douluo's whole person changed, his body trembled violently, and his mouth made a crazy excited sound, as if a madman had an attack. Lovesickness, it's lovesickness. After so many years, the legendary immortal Flower King finally appeared. I have been searching for it for decades of my life, and I actually met it here. Hush. Douluo rushed to the lovesickness heartbroken red in a frenzy, lying beside the flower, and was so excited that he was about to cry. He was very careful and couldn't let it go. Chu Ye and Douluo followed and also came to the lovesickness heartbroken red. He knew that Douluo's martial soul was actually a kind of fairy grass martial soul, called Qian Renxue chrysanthemum, and among these fairy grasses there was a Qian Renxue chrysanthemum. The Qian Renxue chrysanthemum that Daimyo ate in the original novel. If Douluo could absorb the heartbroken acacia red, he might have a chance to reach the level of the 99th level peerless Douluo, so he was so crazy. Douluo, I once said that I would find the heartbroken acacia red for you. Now, if you can get its approval, then this heartbroken acacia red will be yours. Chu Ye said. Douluo was extremely moved, and was also very serious and determined. Chu Ye, Douluo, will keep my promise. You found acacia heartbroken red for me, and I will follow your lead and be loyal from now on. Even if you break up with the spirit hall, Douluo, will follow you. Chu Ye nodded secretly. From now on, Douluo is truly someone by his side. It is not a loss to use a fairy grass to cultivate a 99 level peerless Douluo who is absolutely loyal to him. However, whether Douluo can get the recognition of acacia heartbroken red is still a question. Chu Ye said. Douluo, do you know how to get the recognition of acacia heartbroken red? Of course, if you want to get the recognition of the fairy flower king, you need to take a drop of blood and sprinkle it on the petals. If acacia heartbroken red does not reject it, it can get its recognition. Only in this way can the flower be taken. It cannot be taken by force. If which wonder the flower is forcibly destroyed, it will also make the medicinal effect lose all. That's right, but when dripping blood, you must think of your beloved in your heart, with sincerity. If you are indecisive, it may be difficult to recognize the master. Chu Ye glanced at Douluo. He knew that Douluo was a single dog. Without a wife, children, or a woman he liked, how could he absorb it? Chu Ye was a little skeptical. What? You still have to think about your beloved? I thought that when recognizing the master, you just need to have no distractions. Chapter 116. Absorbing the immortal grass. Surprise, energy of the Ice Dragon King and the Fire Dragon King. It's not impossible to concentrate and not be distracted. Douluo, you can give it a try. Chu Ye nodded. Douluo couldn't wait any longer and immediately dripped blood to recognize the master. As expected, it ended in failure. No matter how many times he tried, the result was the same. Douluo was extremely frustrated and disappointed. It's not easy for me to meet this top-grade Flower King, but I can't get its recognition. Chu Ye also felt it was a pity. In fact, he really wanted to see whether Douluo could reach the level of 99 after absorbing it. He patted Douluo on the shoulder and consoled him. Douluo, it seems that if you want to gain the recognition of acacia heartbroken red, you have to fall in love with a woman first. Of course, you can also fall in love with a man. Douluo rolled his eyes. Hey, boy, although I'm not interested in women, I don't like men either. Chu Ye smiled awkwardly. Ha, just kidding. Anyway, if you want to gain the recognition of acacia heartbroken red, it seems that the only way is to fall in love with a woman. Douluo sighed in his heart and said seriously, give me some time. If I really have no chance with it, I will return acacia heartbroken red to you. Oh? Chu Ye was a little surprised. Since Douluo had this idea, he would not be stingy. Douluo, come with me. Chu Ye took him to another fairy herb, and Douluo's eyes lit up again. This is actually the Qian Renxue chrysanthemum. Douluo was too focused on acacia heartbroken red that he didn't notice that there was another fairy herb that also worked well for him. Chu Ye smiled and said, Douluo, absorbing the Qian Renxue may not allow you to reach the peak of level 99, but it should not be a problem to help you break through level 96. This fairy grass is for you. Thank you, Your Highness the Holy Sun. Douluo said with great respect. He had changed his name for Chu Ye from Xiao Yi to a respectful name, which was also a change in his loyalty to Chu Ye. Now Douluo's loyalty to Chu Ye has surpassed that of the Pope and even the Great Priest. Douluo, now you absorb it, and I should take them down. After saying that, Chu Ye walked towards the yin-yang eye of ice and fire alone. His target was the 8-angled mysterious ice grass and the fiery apricot, two top-grade fairy grasses, one of which was extremely cold and the other extremely hot. These two fairy grasses did not have the effect of strengthening the foundation, opening up the 8 meridians, improving the qualifications for cultivation, and increasing the soul power, but no fairy grass could match the transformation of the physique. They can enhance the physique and flesh of the user, and also create immunity to water and fire, immunity to ice and fire, and immunity to all poisons. With them, Chu Ye's physical strength will be greatly improved, and his strength will be stronger. Of course, in addition to these two plants, Chu Ye will choose a fairy grass that can improve his qualifications and soul power in the future, but it is not suitable for absorption now. He is already level 47, and absorbing it can only increase him to level 50, which is a bit of a waste. Therefore, he plans to wait until he gets the soul ring at level 50 before absorbing it. The 8-angled black ice grass and the fierce fire apricot must be matched, and the ice and fire yin-yang can absorb it. Come on, 8-angled black ice grass, fierce fire apricot. Chu Ye showed a hint of excitement at the corner of his mouth and came to the stone edge above the ice and fire yin-yang eye. Then he released the sword of gods and demons, swung out 2 sword blades, and accurately cut off the roots of the fairy grass. Then he mobilized his soul power to collide the 2 fairy grasses together. For a time, the toxicity of ice and fire restrained each other, and Chu Ye did not delay any longer and quickly took it and absorbed it. The medicinal properties immediately took effect in his body. He felt bone-chilling cold and then burned like fire. It's really powerful. Chu Ye endured the pain and jumped into the yin-yang eye of ice and fire. His body was completely immersed in it, absorbing the medicinal properties with all his strength. Time passed by. Chu Ye didn't realize that the corpses of the Ice Dragon King and the Fire Dragon King, buried thousands of feet deep in the yin-yang eye of ice and fire, were gradually emitting faint dragon energy. These energies were gradually gathering into a ball, constantly rising, and flowing into Chu Ye's body silently. What's going on? 2 strange energies are eroding my body. Chu Ye finally noticed something was wrong. Me. My dragon god wings. Ah. Chu Ye's foreign soul bone dragon god wings began to grow out of control and grew out from his back. The energy of the Ice Dragon King and the Fire Dragon King was constantly being absorbed by the dragon god wings. He felt that his dragon god wings were rapidly getting stronger. But it also made him extremely painful. Chu Ye's consciousness began to gradually blur, and soon, he completely lost consciousness, and his body began to fall freely, but there were 2 ice and fire dragon energies protecting him. In this way, Chu Ye's body fell to the bottom of the yin-yang eye of ice and fire. He laid deep at the bottom, and on both sides were the remains of the Ice Dragon King and the Fire Dragon King, the son of the strongest beast god, the Dragon God, one of the 9 Dragon Kings during the Dragon God period of the God Realm. They had long since turned into dragon bones, but at this moment, they seemed to be looking at Chu Ye lying between them. A large amount of dragon energy rushed into Chu Ye's body frantically, and the age of the dragon god's wings began to increase rapidly. 60,000 years. 70,000 years. 80,000 years. 90,000 years. 99,900 years. Chu Ye's body was also transformed twice under the energy of the Ice Dragon King and the Fire Dragon King, becoming more powerful, and the dragon body was tempered. He already had the blood of the dragon in his body. I don't know how long it has been. Chu Ye gradually regained consciousness. He opened his eyes vaguely and seemed to see 2 giant dragons, one red and one blue. Ice Dragon King, Fire Dragon King. Chu Ye seemed to understand something. The 2 giant dragons in front of him quickly disappeared, and he lost consciousness again. But when he woke up again, he had already arrived at the shore of the yin-yang eye of ice and fire. Chu Ye slowly stood up, feeling the body of this moment with great surprise and shock. I didn't expect that I would accidentally absorb the remaining energy from the corpses of the Ice Dragon King and the Fire Dragon King. Now my body is several times stronger than before, and my mental power has also increased to the level of an ordinary titled Douluo. Even the Dragon God's wings has reached 99,900 years. He knew that there were the remains of the Ice Dragon King and the Fire Dragon King under the yin-yang eye of ice and fire, but he never expected that it could help him strengthen his physique, mental power, and improve his external soul bones. The Dragon God's wings now have extremely strong ice and fire attributes. Anything that touches his Dragon God's wings will instantly freeze, and will also instantly be burned to ashes by fire. Chu Ye's current strength is truly comparable to that of a low-level titled Douluo. Yes, this time I gained a lot. He smiled faintly, walked out of the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire, came to Ghost Douluo and asked, "LD Khan, how is the situation?" Ghost Douluo clearly felt that Chu Ye's aura was a little more terrifying. He said, after absorbing the Qian Renxue, Yuigan has broken through to level 96 and is now admiring those fairy flowers and plants. Chapter 117. Tang San prepares his hidden weapon with a confident look. Haha, it's level 96 as expected. Now Douluo can be regarded as entering the ranks of high-level titled Douluo. Chu Ye smiled in his heart. There is a watershed between level 95 and level 96 of titled Douluo. The difference in strength is huge. At level 96, it can be said that he is no longer an ordinary titled Douluo. Douluo's breakthrough from level 95 to level 96 is equivalent to a qualitative leap. His strength must have increased a lot. At least Ghost Douluo can't beat Douluo now. And the status of a level 96 titled Douluo in the Spirit Hall will inevitably be greatly improved. If things go well, Douluo can even advance from an ordinary elder to a worship elder. Elder Yuigan, how do you feel after absorbing the Qian Renxue chrysanthemum? Chu Ye came to Douluo and asked with a smile. Douluo said excitedly, Your Highness, this feels great. Not only has my soul power broken through to level 96, my martial soul seems to have also been upgraded to a higher level. I have a hunch that I will break through again and reach level 97 inches the next 10 years. All this is thanks to your Highness. Douluo knelt on one knee and said with great respect. Elder Yuigan, there is no need to do this. Get up quickly. Chu Ye hurriedly helped Douluo up. Then he looked at the fairy grass around him and said with a smile, Now, let's dig up all the fairy grass here. Okay. Next, Chu Ye began to harvest all the top quality fairy grass here frantically, and put them all into the space soul guide that can store living things. Not a single one was left for Tang San, including anyone else. Although Douluo had been killed, Tang San was very likely not to come to the Sunset Forest. After a while, Chu Ye packed all the fairy grass and went to the place where Douluo hid the 4,000-year-old bones. It was placed near here, in a very hidden location. If you don't tell me, it's really hard to find it. There is a layer of energy sealed on it. Chu Ye broke up the soul bones with a palm and took them out. 2 pieces were 3,000 years old, and 2 pieces were 2,000 years old. 4 pieces, adding up to exactly 10,000 years, not bad. Chu Ye smiled and accepted them. Now the trunk bone of the phoenix is evolved to 100,000 years old. The next step is to evolve to the million-year god level, which is too difficult. He is no longer in a hurry to increase the age of the phoenix. Let's go back. Yes. Your Highness the Son of God. Douluo and Ghost Douluo responded at the same time. Before they came and now they're leaving, their attitude towards Chu Ye has changed dramatically. The 3 of them quickly left the Sunset Forest and went all the way back to Ihun City. On the way, Chu Ye had privately absorbed 4,000-year soul bones. The Phoenix soul bone was upgraded to 110,000 years. As for Douluo's piece, the 40,000-year Meadows Ahead soul bone, he kept it for the time being. The skills of this soul bone are still good. Zwaya, I'm done here and on my way back to the city. Chu Ye communicated with Qian Renxue in his mind, and Qian Renxue quickly responded. Grandpa and I are also on our way back to the Spirit Hall. Okay, let's meet in Spirit City. Yeah. After returning, Chu Ye planned to let Qian Renxue absorb a fairy grass, and then her spirit power would be able to surge again. On the other side, in Noting City, Tang San was in a private room, sitting in front of a table, on which were placed 2 kinds of hidden weapons, as well as a variety of silver needle-like hidden weapons of various sizes. He smiled. I already have silent sleep arrows and a large number of hidden weapon silver needles. Now I just need some materials, the Flying God Claw and Huge God Crossbow, which can be made soon. When I have the Huge God Crossbow and the Flying God Claw, plus the hidden weapon techniques I have mastered now, the boy who insulted and beat my teacher back then will die in my hands no matter how talented or powerful he is. It's a pity that the teacher doesn't even know his name, who he is, or where he is, so I can't kill him. Tang San is already 9 years old and has just become a 4th-year student at Noting College. He has been with Yuxiagan for more than 3 years. In the past 3 years, although Yuxiagan did not ask Tang San to help him take revenge, he would mention Chu Ye in front of Tang San from time to time, telling Tang San indirectly not to forget the revenge of his teacher. As a disciple, Tang San naturally did not forget. While practicing hard, he was also preparing means to deal with Chu Ye. Hidden weapons were one of his major advantages. Although Tang San didn't know Chu Ye's current level and strength, through the description of his teacher Yuxiagan, Chu Ye was probably only 4 or 5 years older than him. How powerful could someone 4 or 5 years older be? At most, he could be at the Soul Master level, right? That's easy to do. Tang San only needed a flying god claw and huge god crossbow to create it. In fact, he didn't need these 2 hidden weapons. Tang San now had the hidden weapon techniques, as well as the Tang sect's unique skills, Ghost Shadow Trace, Mysterious Jade Hand, Crane Control and Dragon Capture, etc. Tang San also had enough confidence and assurance to kill Chu Ye alone and avenge his teacher. It was a pity that he didn't know who Chu Ye was or where he was, so he had no chance to do it. Confident Tang San shook his head and temporarily put away all the hidden weapons. Forget it, the teacher said that as long as there is a genius, there'll always be a day when he will stand out in the world of spirit masters. When I know who he is, I will have the opportunity to kill him. Now it's time to go to Huxing City to buy some materials necessary for the flying god claw and huge god crossbow. Noting college has not started yet, Tang San just took this time to go to the medium-sized city of Huxing City. Noting city is too small and does not have the materials he needs. Huxing City is okay, it is the closest city to Noting City. Huxing City is located in the south, which is the location of the Blacksmith Association, Zhenxin City. Knowing that Tang San was going to Huxing City, Xiao jumped up and down and wanted to go with him, so the two made an appointment to set off in a few days. A few days later, Chu Ye and Qian Renxue had returned to the Spirit Hall. Knowing that Douluo was killed, the high-level people in the Spirit Hall did not react too much, because it was just the death of a titled Douluo, and for them, it was not a very important matter. Only Bai Dong was very surprised, because she was the only one who knew that it was Chu Ye who killed Douluo alone. My goodness, her apprentice can already kill a titled Douluo alone, how could Bai Dong not be surprised? Compared to the killing of Douluo, what surprised the high-level officials of the Spirit Hall was that Douluo actually broke through level 96. This immediately made Douluo's status in the Spirit Hall rise instantly. Bai Dong valued him more, and the elders who worshipped him did not dare to look down on Douluo. In fact, before, the 6 great worshippers did not think much of those ordinary elders who were titled Douluo. In the evening, Chu Ye and Qian Renxue went home together. Qian Renxue held Chu Ye's arm, and the two walked very intimately. On the way, Chu Ye asked, "Zwe, what soul skills did you get after absorbing the 5th soul ring of 50,000 years this time?" Chapter 118's Memory Awakens. Yu. The two of them walked on the road very intimately. Although they have not yet made their couple status public, they have not concealed it anymore. They just get along as a couple, and it is what it should be. In fact, everyone knows that Chu Ye and Qian Renxue are together. Qian Renxue took Chu Ye's arm, smiled sweetly and said, "My 5th soul skill is called the Holy Sword. It is condensed into a long sword by the Holy Fire, which can be used as a weapon. It can increase the purification effect of my angel soul power by 300%. If you are hit by this move, even if the soul scent does not die, he will be skinned." Holy Sword. In Chu Ye's memory, Qian Renxue's 5th soul skill is this Holy Sword. He nodded and praised, "Not bad, your move is also very strong. Now Zwe, your strength is really getting stronger and stronger. How can you be as powerful as you? You actually killed Douluo alone." Qian Renxue pouted. Qian Renxue dare not be too proud in front of Chu Ye. In addition to her higher level than Chu Ye, her strength is actually not as strong as Chu Ye. "No matter how powerful I am, I can't beat you in front of you." Chu Ye hugged Qian Renxue's slender waist, pressed her against his body, and flirted with her. Qian Renxue blushed and gently pushed Chu Ye away. "Don't be like this, Chu Ye, we're outside, it would be bad if someone saw us." "What are you afraid of? Others know that you are with me, and we're a legal couple." Chu Ye said disapprovingly. "Just your girlfriend." "Not a legal couple yet, okay, just your girlfriend." "Oh, anyway, pay attention to your image outside. I'm a little embarrassed to be seen by others, okay? I know, then I'll be careful outside," Chu Ye said dotingly. While the two were communicating, they returned home. As soon as they opened the door and entered the hall, they saw her alone at the dining table, eating barbecue at big mouthfuls. "Hey, brother Chu Ye, brother Zwe, you're back," and ran over with meat in her mouth. But, when got close to Chu Ye, her eyes suddenly changed. She no longer had the innocence of a child, but suddenly had a look full of experience. Chu Ye frowned. That look made him feel that it was not. The next second, he suddenly started to have a headache. "What's wrong?" "Ah. My head, it hurts so much." just hugged her head and said with a painful face. The closer Chu Ye got, the more intense his reaction became. She felt the blood of the Dragon Clan in Chu Ye, and the breath of the Ice Dragon King and the Fire Dragon King. Silver Dragon King. Give you and I give you. Me. Ah. And was acting more and more painful, and she was repeating these names constantly. Qian Renxue was very anxious. Chu Ye, what's going on? What happened, Tan? The memory of the Silver Dragon King and its master personality Giyu is awakening. Chu Ye's face sank. Looking at his sudden reaction and the words she was muttering, he seemed to have guessed something. What? Giyu? If she'd finally come in. Qian Renxue had learned everything about him from Chu Ye. He was a dragon creature with the power of a god king, the Silver Dragon King Giyu. The Silver Dragon King transformed into a human, but lost his memory and formed a subsidiary personality. The main personality is Giyu. Because of the amnesia, this body has been dominated by the subsidiary personality. Therefore, once his memory awakens, the master personality Giyu will occupy the body again. At the time, and will also become a person they are not familiar with. Why is it so sudden? And was fine just now. Qian Renxue looked a little worried. It may be because I absorbed the energy of the dragon race in the yin yang eyes of ice and fire. I already have the blood of the Ice Dragon King and the Fire Dragon King. I must have sensed the dragon blood in me and awakened her memory in advance. This is the only reason Chu Ye could think of, because the Ice Dragon King and the Fire Dragon King are the sons of the Dragon God, and Giyu is the kind part of the Dragon God, transformed. Therefore, there is an unusual relationship between them. What should we do? Didn't you say that when his memory awakens, she will become Giyu, and she will leave us, right? Even the master personality, should we think of a way to prevent her memory from awakening? Qian Renxue said anxiously. In the eyes of Chu Ye and Qian Renxue, Risen and Giyu is Giyu. What they care about is not the master personality Giyu. Chu Ye was a little hesitant. His dragon god wings needed the Silver Dragon King and the Golden Dragon King to be truly activated. It was actually enough for him to exist, and there was no need for Giyu, but Giyu's personality would awaken sooner or later. While the two were hesitating, his pain suddenly disappeared, and her eyes regained their childlike innocence. Now? Chu Ye asked tentatively. Brother Chu Ye suddenly had a headache just now, and made you worried. Chu Ye and Qian Renxue looked at each other and could see that this was still. Chu Ye breathed a sigh of relief. In fact, he was not ready to face Giyu yet, and he was not sure whether Giyu would stay by his side after waking up. He touched his head and gently comforted her. It's okay, does it still hurt now? Yeah, it doesn't hurt anymore. That's good, go back to your room and have a good rest. Yeah, knows. Soon, and returned to the room and closed the door. Chu Ye and Qian Renxue walked to the balcony with mixed feelings. Swear, although his memory has not awakened this time, I have a hunch that it will soon. Then we should do this. Once his memory awakens, and will no longer be. She is a subsidiary personality and may be taken over by the main personality at any time. Now Chu Ye and Qian Renxue are mainly worried that his personality will be merged with the main personality Giyu, or sealed up. At the time, N will disappear or become the real Giyu. But N is already a personality with independent thoughts. In Chu Ye's view, she is already an independent individual. If N's memory awakens and Giyu's personality occupies the body, we can let Giyu separate and let N have an independent body and occupy 30% of the power of the Silver Dragon King. In Chu Ye's memory, he actually knows something about the Silver Dragon King Giyu. In the subsequent parts of Douluo, the Silver Dragon King Giyu, who transformed into a human, lost his memory and formed a subsidiary personality to occupy his body. After entering the human world and meeting Tang Yuan, after following Tang Yuan for 3 years, his memory awakened and he was taken away by the Soul Beast organization. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 119. But because N's subsidiary personality has been formed, N sees herself as a human being and has feelings for humans, while the main personality Giyu shoulders the mission and resignation of the Soul Beast's revival. The two personalities have conflicting thoughts, beliefs, and all aspects, which makes them unable to blend. In desperation, Giyu separated N alone, forming two separate individuals, Giyu and N. The main personality Qian accounts for 7 levels of the power of the Silver Dragon King, and the subsidiary personality accounts for 3 levels. Therefore, the Silver Dragon King can achieve this kind of separation of power. The possibility that Chu Ye mentioned is feasible. But will Qian agree? Qian Renxue asked. Chu Ye couldn't say for sure, because everything might become different. He shook his head. I'm not sure, but I can give it a try and take it one step at a time. Put this matter aside for now, Chu Ye. This fairy grass is called Jinlian grass. I selected the most suitable one for you from the nearly 100 fairy grasses in the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire. If you absorb it, it should be of great help to your martial soul. It can greatly enhance the power of your light attribute, and at the same time it can also increase your soul power by several levels. Chu Ye took out a golden fairy grass and handed it to Qian Renxue. Qian Renxue withdrew her thoughts and looked at it with curiosity. Chu Ye, this fairy grass really has such a miraculous effect. Ha, you'll know if you try it. Chu Ye smiled. Okay, then I will absorb it now. Yes. Qian Renxue took the fairy grass, then sat cross-legged on the sofa, and then began to absorb the fairy grass according to Chu Ye's instructions. Time passed by minute. Qian Renxue's soul power began to gradually rise, from the original level 53, to level 54. Her soul power continued to rise. Level 55. Level 56. Level 56 is close to the peak. 3 levels in a row. Chu Ye, I actually rose 3 levels in a row. Qian Renxue opened her eyes and said with great surprise. Absorbing the fairy grass in the Soul King realm can also improve 3 levels, which means the effect is very good. Chu Ye, the gap between your soul power and mine has widened again. Chu Ye was also very happy for her. You know, Qian Renxue is only nearly 17 years old now, and now she is level 56. It is estimated that she can break through to the Soul Empire realm when she is 18 years old. At the time, she will directly refresh the record of the youngest Soul Empire on the continent. Here you go again. Wait until your soul power breaks through to level 50, absorbs soul rings above your level, and then increases by several levels, and absorbs the fairy grass again. You will soon catch up again. Qian Renxue put her hands on her waist and rolled her eyes. Okay, Chu Ye, it's getting late. How about you sleep here with me tonight? Chu Ye suddenly hugged Qian Renxue, sniffing the faint fragrance of the girl's breath on Qian Renxue. He found it difficult to control himself again. Qian Renxue's face turned red, and she said shyly, Chu Ye, you are not thinking about it again. What do you think? Chu Ye pressed Qian Renxue tightly against his body, their noses almost touching. The man who just tasted what it was like to be with a woman wanted to think about it every day. No, Qian Renxue said shyly. When a woman says no, then she wants it. Hey, did you hear this nonsense from someone else? Before Qian Renxue could finish, Chu Ye picked up Qian Renxue and walked quickly to the room. He opened the door, closed the door, and then gently placed Qian Renxue on the bed and kissed her tenderly. Very soon, the two fell into a passionate kiss. The next day, in the early morning, the sun rose slowly, and the sunlight from the first floor shone into the house. Qian Renxue leaned weakly in Chu Ye's arms. Chu Ye had already woken up and looked at the woman in his arms. Soon, because of the sunlight, Qian Renxue also woke up. She glanced at the man in front of her and complained. Chu Ye, I don't know, maybe practice makes perfect. Chu Ye analyzed himself. I know how to know you, Qian Renxue said softly. Just as the two were lying on the bed chatting, a voice suddenly came from outside the door. Your Highness the Holy Sun, I have something important to report. Qian Renxue frowned. What's the matter? Why have you found your residence? Let's go, put on your clothes, and let's go out and take a look. Okay. The two of them quickly dressed, washed their faces and brushed their teeth, and then stepped out of the room. It was a middle or senior level staff of the supervisory hall, who was kneeling on one knee on the ground. What's the matter? Get up and tell me. Chu Ye said. Your Highness, the supervisor we sent to Zhenjiang City to monitor the Wuhan main hall was killed on the way. What? Chu Ye frowned slightly. Since Chu Ye and Qian Renxue established the supervisory hall, they quickly recruited soldiers and horses, and the work of the supervisory hall has been held long ago. Specialized personnel from the supervisory hall went to establish branch halls in cities of all sizes across the mainland to monitor and investigate the behavior of each branch hall. The existence of the supervisory hall has obviously played a very effective role, making the behavior of the branches of the spirit hall in various places less and less, and even bullying the hundreds of people. Under the management of the supervisory hall, the public security in various parts of the mainland has also been significantly improved to a higher level. The spirit hall has been praised and loved by the civilians, and has also attracted many free spirit masters to join. But there are actually all kinds of trivial matters in the inspection hall, but this is the first time that the additional inspectors were killed halfway. Qian Renxue asked, "Who killed our people?" "I don't know, we have asked the people at the spirit hall of Jinxin City to investigate." According to the investigation of the temple, this group of people is unknown and is temporarily assessed as a robbery gang. Just because they're unknown, they are considered robbers. What if they deliberately faked the murder as robbers, but in fact it was not done? Chu Ye thought for a moment, and said again, "Our people cannot die inexplicably, even if they're robbers, they must be found for me. We will also send people from the inspection hall to investigate. Your subordinates, that's what I wanted to do, so I found your highness the son of God and wanted to ask for your permission to mobilize some spirit masters. Generally, if some spirit masters need to be mobilized under special circumstances, they must obtain the approval of Chu Ye and Qian Renxue. Okay, go ahead." "Yes." The senior management of the inspection hall turned to leave. At this time, Chu Ye suddenly thought of something, and quickly stopped him again. "Wait. Jinxin City, the current bishop of the Wuhun Temple, is he called Miles?" "Yes, young master." Chu Ye narrowed his eyes slightly. He almost forgot about this little guy. Renewal City, the capital of metal, is the seat of the Blacksmith Association. In Chu Ye's memory, the bishop of the Spirit Temple, Miles, was a typical pest who behaved improperly and oppressed the civilians. The incident of the inspector being killed on the way may be a problem. Chapter 120 Jinxin City, Chu Ye meets Tang San for the first time. "Come with me to the inspection hall first and bring out the files of Jinxin City for me to see." "Any questions, Chu Ye?" Qian Renxue asked with some doubt. "I'm afraid there's something fishy about this matter." "Oh? Let's go take a look first." Chu Ye replied, and immediately went to the inspection hall. Soon, his men brought out the files of Jinxin City, which recorded in detail the soul masters of the Wuhun Temple, the contributions of the Jinxin City Temple, and the handling of major events. Chu Ye soon found the problem, and his eyes gradually became stern. "Zwire, look here." Qian Renxue looked at the record that Chu Ye pointed to and read it out. 3 months ago, the inspection hall sent Inspector Li Feng to the temple to serve as an inspector. 2 months later, he died in battle for helping the temple to eliminate the soul beasts that were causing trouble nearby. Have you found the problem? Qian Renxue's face became serious. Chu Ye continued, the first one died within 2 months. Now we sent someone else, but he was killed on the way and died again. Don't you think it's strange? Qian Renxue was very smart and immediately understood what Chu Ye meant. You mean, the cause of death of both of them is related to the Jinxin City Spirit Temple? This possibility cannot be ruled out. If the person in charge of the local branch temple is a corrupt official or someone who behaves improperly, we will send someone from the inspection hall. The existence of the inspector will definitely greatly affect their interests. If there is no inspection hall, the corrupt official can still get away with it. So, it is possible that he was killed by the people from the Spirit Temple. They dared to touch the inspection hall. If this is true, the Jinxin City Spirit Temple is too bold. Zwire, it seems that we need to go there in person. By the way, I will also go to the Blacksmith Association to take the exam. Chu Ye decided. Taking this opportunity, he planned to try to win over the Blacksmith Association and join the Spirit Hall. If the Blacksmith Association joins, the military equipment, weapons, armor, etc. of the army will be more sophisticated in future large-scale wars. Okay, then we will go to Jinxin City to investigate. If it is really the work of the temple, I will cut off Miles' head with one sword. Humph. Qian Renxue said coldly. With the decision, Chu Ye and Qian Renxue prepared, told him to practice well, and immediately set off for Jinxin City. And Douluo has almost become Chu Ye's bodyguard. In the future, when Chu Ye goes out, he will secretly escort and follow. Jinxin City is actually very close to Wuhun City. It is located in the southwest of Wuhun City and belongs to the territory of Xingluo Empire. On the way, you need to pass through Huxing City before you can reach Jinxin City. Just when Chu Ye and Qian Renxue were on their way to Jinxin City, On the other side, Tang San and Xiao, who planned to go to Huxing City to buy materials for making hidden weapons, had also set off. Both sides were heading towards Huxing City, and according to the speed, they could reach Huxing City at almost the same time. Brother San, we don't even know who is bullying Master Yu. Why are you in such a hurry to make these hidden weapons? Xiao pouted as she got on the carriage, a little unhappy. She actually didn't want to come. The academy hasn't started yet. It would be great to have some fun during this time. The carriage went back and forth for several days, making Xiao feel too bored. Tang San smiled. Xiao, I made these hidden weapons not only to kill him, but also to provide us with a means of self-defense. Now our soul power is still very low. What if we encounter a powerful soul master, right? With hidden weapons, we can easily kill enemies above our level. Is it really that powerful? Xiao asked, pretending to be silly and cute, pouting her lips, pretending to be cute, obviously 100,000-year soul beast that has lived for thousands or even tens of thousands of years. Tang San introduced confidently. Of course, Xiao, you have also seen the silent sleep arrows. If the huge divine crossbow can be manufactured, the power of the huge divine crossbow can easily penetrate the defense of soul masters below level 40 and kill them instantly. At the maximum power, it can also threaten soul masters at level 60 who are fully defending. The power of the huge divine crossbow cannot be underestimated. With it in hand, when I meet the boy who bullied my teacher, I can easily kill him. Wow, so powerful. Xiao was very surprised. There are also mechanical hidden weapons that are more powerful than the huge divine crossbow. It's a pity that I am far from being able to manufacture them now. Tang San sighed. The two of them were communicating in the car, and soon their carriage came to a three-way intersection. At the same time, another carriage appeared and almost arrived at the three-way intersection at the same time. The two sides drove towards the intersection in a V shape and finally entered a road at the same time. The people in the other carriage were Chu Ye and Qian Renxue. The two carriages were almost parallel. Chu Ye was lying on the carriage window to enjoy the breeze, and Tang San was looking out of the window. They were looking out of the window, and they were facing each other. Chu Ye looked at Tang San. Tang San also looked at Chu Ye. The two of them were facing each other, staring at each other for several seconds, and they were both stunned for a while. Chu Ye and Tang San immediately began to look at each other's appearance and looks. Soon, they both confirmed who was in front of them. Tang San. Could this guy be the one who bullied my teacher? Chu Ye recognized Tang San instantly. Tang San was still unsure. Although he had never seen Chu Ye, Yu Xiaogan had already described Chu Ye's appearance and facial features many times in front of him. This person. He looks very similar to the boy described by teacher Yu Xiaogan. And he is about the same age. Stop. Chu Ye and Tang San shouted at the same time. The two carriages stopped one after another, one in front and one in the back. At this time, Chu Ye and Tang San also got off the carriage at the same time, and each walked forward. The two sides were less than 5 meters apart, and their eyes were secretly fighting. Good guy, I actually met Tang San here. Chu Ye looked at the 9-year-old Tang San with interest. I actually met him here. Tang San was already 80% sure that the boy in front of him was the one who insulted his teacher that year. In Tang San's eyes, there was already a hint of undetectable murderous intent. The third article of the Tang sect Quantum Belu General Principles is to determine that the opponent is an enemy. As long as there is a way to kill, do not show mercy, otherwise it will only add to your troubles. Chu Ye, what's wrong? At this time, Qian Renxue also got off the car and stood beside Chu Ye, looking at Tang San in front of him with some doubts. And Xiao also came to Tang San and glanced at Chu Ye. Tang San is still not 100% sure. After all, the world is so big, there are always people who look alike. In order to avoid accidental killing, Tang San asked first. Excuse me, a few years ago, did you go to Noting College and humiliate a person named Yu Xiaogan for no reason? Chapter 121. Xiao is knocked down by a blow. Tang San is furious. Chu Ye smiled. He had seen through Tang San's thoughts. He said frankly without any cover-up. I have been there and I have beaten him, but you were wrong about one thing. I did not do it for no reason, but the person really deserves a beating. It is you. Tang San's face instantly turned cold. Oh, so you're the one who bullied Master Yu. Today, we met, you are finished. Xiao put her hands on her waist and pointed at Chu Ye angrily, looking fearless. Deserve a beating? Hectares, don't you just bully my teacher because you were unhappy with him? Tang San said coldly. Chu Ye, are they the disciples of that Yu? Qian Renxue asked. She was also the when Chu Ye beat Yu Xiaogan. Yeah. Chu Ye nodded. Seeing this, Qian Renxue walked forward a few steps and smiled calmly. Ha, your hypocritical teacher told you that we started it first. Isn't it? Tang San still had a cold face. Although I don't know how your hypocritical and disgusting teacher told you. But the fact is that after we pointed out the mistakes and loopholes in his theory, he couldn't accept that we pointed out the mistakes in his theory. In a fit of rage, he took the initiative to attack us. As a result, he was too weak to beat us, and was beaten instead. Do you understand? Qian Renxue said calmly. Ah? Third brother, why are they saying different from what Master Yu said? Xiao was stunned. If this is the case, it seems that Yu Xiaogan really deserves a beating. Tang San was also stunned. This was the first time he heard such words. But Tang San is actually a very hypocritical person. He doesn't want to care about the whole story now. He only knows that this is enough for the person in front of him to beat his teacher. If his teacher is beaten, he will retaliate. No matter if the other party is a righteous person or not. Xiao, do you believe everything they say? This is just their words. Tang San said seriously. You. Qian Renxue was a little speechless. Chu Ye patted her shoulder and said, Zhuye, there is no need for him to explain anything. He won't listen to it. So, I beat your teacher. What do you want to do now? Chu Ye slowly took 2 steps forward, ignoring Tang San and Xiao in front of him, with a strong aura. This moment made Tang San and Xiao feel that their momentum was suppressed a little. One of these 2 people is a person who may threaten the spirit hall in the future, and the other is a soul beast of 100,000 years, the soft-bone rabbit. And Xiao is actually one of the pre-selected targets that Chu Ye wants to absorb in the future soul rings. After all, Xiao's soul skills are not bad. There are 2 soul skills. One is nothingness, which is immune to physical attacks and 50% immune to soul power attacks. The second move, the 8-stage burst, is also a soul skill of continuous attack, and it is completely unstoppable during the process. Its soul bone is also very good. It has the skill of teleportation, which can be used continuously without any buffer within 100 meters and can be used to teleport. Skill 2, Invincible Golden Body, immune to any attack below the god level for 3 seconds. Chu Ye now has a lot of attacking skills. Except for the second soul skill, the God and Demon Sword Body, all other skills are attacking. There is also the Angel's 6 Swordsmanship and the power of the God and Demon in one thought. His strength is already enough. If you can add speed, defense, and immunity skills, your strength will be even more terrifying. He actually wants to go the balanced route. The more Chu Ye thinks about it, the more he finds that Xiao's spirit ring and spirit bone are quite suitable for him. As for Tang San, Chu Ye doesn't have a good impression of him, and they are originally opposites. Now that the fairy grass resources have been taken away by him in advance, without the blessing of the fairy grass, Tang San's future growth must be greatly discounted, and even because of the chain reaction caused by the lack of the blessing of the fairy grass. Tang San's future is not enough to threaten the spirit hall. What's more, there is Chu Ye. He is fully confident that after Tang San grows up, he will let the spirit hall take control of the situation. So whether Tang San was killed or not was not that important to Chu Ye, but now that they had met, Chu Ye did not suggest killing Tang San and taking Xiao. But Chu Ye secretly looked around. He was wondering if Tang Adao was there. If he remembered correctly, Tang Adao had been protecting his son in secret most of the time in the early stage. HMPH. How? Of course, I will teach you a lesson for Master Yu. Let you pay the price. Xiao said to Chu Ye angrily, and the next second, she released her martial soul and soul ring, 2 yellows. Judging from the fluctuation of soul power, she should have just reached the second ring, about level 21. Third brother, I'll go meet him first. I want to see what this guy is capable of. Hectares. Wait, Xiao. Tang San wanted to stop him. It was a wise move to rush into the opponent before knowing the opponent's level and strength, but Xiao had already rushed out. Hectares. Xiao sneered at the corner of her mouth, very confident, and secretly activated her second soul skill, Charm. Her eyes flashed pink, and she kicked Chu Ye. Charm can confuse the enemy and delay them for a short time. No one in the entire Noting Academy, whether male or female, can resist her second soul skill. Stupid rabbit. Chu Ye ignored her and did not move. Just when Xiao's foot was about to kick Chu Ye in the face, he suddenly took a step back, then stretched out his hand and instantly grabbed Xiao's long hair whip, mercilessly whipped it, and smashed it hard to the ground. Bang! Ah Xiao screamed and fell to the ground miserably. Knocked down on the spot. My charm actually has no effect on him at all. Xiao's pale head made her small body unable to move. Chu Ye stepped on Xiao's back, making her unable to move, and said expressionlessly, "With your strength, what can you do?" Of course, he could not be charmed by a second ring soul master. To put it bluntly, the skill of charm mainly relies on mental skills, and Chu Ye's mental power has reached the level of a titled Luo. Xiao Xiao. Tang San's eyes burst into blood and he roared. Xiao was Tang San's fuse. Seeing Xiao being hit and stepped on the ground like this, Tang San was instantly furious. Killing intent burst out. How dare you treat her like this? Today, you'll definitely die. Let her go. First soul skill, blue-silver entanglement. Several blue-silver grasses spread rapidly and crawled over. Chu Ye glanced at them, and the sword of gods and demons appeared in his hand. He casually swung out a few sword energies and cut off all the blue-silver grasses. Tang San immediately threw out a few hidden weapon silver needles and then rushed over. Ding! Chu Ye easily blocked the hidden weapon. Ghost shadow tracking. Tang San's running figure suddenly became very strange, illusory and real, and the speed was also very fast. Chapter 122. Tang San is vulnerable, mysterious jade hands. Tang San's hands seemed to have turned into a pair of jade hands. He gathered a huge amount of soul power and opened it above this punch. Chu Ye focused his attention, constantly capturing Tang San's footsteps, body movements, and actions, and then swung a sword. Ding! A sword blocked it. Get out! Chu Ye then swung a slab, hitting Tang San's face hard, and slapped him away. There was a loud bang. Ah! Tang San screamed, and was slapped away 10 meters. You want to kill me with just you overestimate your own abilities. Chu Ye's face was indifferent. How could he be so strong? Tang San's mouth was a little crooked by the slab. He stood up from the ground with difficulty, his eyes were a little panicked, and he was also a little confused. Looking at Xiao who was stepped on the ground, looking at the powerful boy. It was the first time that Tang San was so embarrassed, and it was also that first time he felt a huge sense of oppression and a feeling that made him powerless. Brother San, save me. Xiao, who was stepped on by Chu Ye, looked at Tang San with a painful expression. Xiao. Looking at Xiao with a painful face, Tang San felt very uncomfortable because he had let his beloved girl fall into such a situation. Recalling that he had said all kinds of confident words in front of Xiao before, saying that as long as he met Chu Ye, he could easily kill him, but now, why? Why? Everything is completely different from what he expected. How could this happen? Since I knew who I was, you have already wanted to kill me, right? But you overestimated your own strength and knew nothing about my power. You can't even protect your own woman, and you dare to show your killing intention to me. Chu Ye's breath rose instantly, and a terrifying soul pressure came, making Tang San a little breathless. Too strong, how can this person be so strong? With the oppression of Chu Ye's soul pressure, Tang San completely understood that he was most likely not an opponent. Xiao and Tang San both had desperate expressions on their faces. They had never thought that Chu Ye was so strong before. They were just hanging around in Noting City. How many spirit masters had they seen? How many young spirit master geniuses had they seen? In Noting Academy, there were only a group of students with low innate spirit power. Apart from Tang San and Xiao, the strongest 6th grade student in that academy was called Xiao Chenyu. Xiao Lao was 12 years old and only had the 11th level of spirit power. Living in such an academy for a long time had greatly influenced Tang San and Xiao's understanding of the strength and talent of human spirit masters in this world. Therefore, Tang San and Xiao were so confident. Now that they suddenly encountered such a fierce one, it directly overturned their imagination and understanding. Damn it. Tang San was now regretting it, but he had to do his best to rescue Xiao. 24 Bridges Moonlit Night. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Tang San continued to throw out a large number of silver needles crazily, and with the help of the ghost shadow, he shot out the needles from different angles. This was a relatively common method among the Tang sect's hidden weapon techniques, called flying rain all over the sky, but its attack method was also very powerful. Unfortunately, most of the hidden weapon techniques require the combination of ghost shadow and purple demon eye, which has extreme observation ability. The flying rain relies heavily on ghost shadow and purple demon eye. But Tang San, who is only 9 years old now, has practiced ghost shadow and purple demon eye, and has physical fitness, so he can't fully exert the power of flying rain. In Chu Ye's opinion, the loophole is very large. No matter how many Tang San throws, he will be blocked or avoided. Silent Sleep Arrow. Blue Silver Grass. No matter how Tang San throws hidden weapons, how to use blue silver grass to attack, they are all resolved by Chu Ye. Damn it. Hey. Tang San chose again and punched. Looking for death. Chu Ye seized the opportunity and punched at the same time. The two fists clashed and collided in an instant. Bang. Tang San's finger bones were broken on the spot. Ah! The pain of the broken fist bones made Tang San scream again. Chu Ye did not give him a chance to react. He quickly pressed Tang San's head with his other palm, grabbed Tang San's hair, and slammed Tang San's head face down on the ground. Bang! Tang San lay on the ground helplessly, his face covered with blood. He was desperate. I was completely powerless. I naively thought that I could kill him easily. The hidden weapon techniques, hidden weapons, and unique skills that I can master at present are all unable to threaten him. My blue silver grass can't touch him at all. Even the second soul skill parasitism cannot be used. Feeling the powerful aura of Chu Ye's god and demon sword martial soul, Tang San deeply felt for the first time how rubbish his blue silver grass martial soul was, as if hitting a rock with an egg. His self-confidence, his confidence, and his pride were almost defeated by Chu Ye in front of him at this moment. It's like this, Tang Ao still hasn't come out. Or is he not here at all? Chu Ye secretly released his mental power to explore the surrounding situation. If Tang Ao was secretly protecting Tang San, he would not kill Tang San on the spot, because Tang Ao's current strength was enough to fight against the 97-level title Douluo. If Tang San was killed, Tang Ao would be like a mad dog, retaliating crazily to avenge his son. But if Tang Ao was not there, Chu Ye did not recommend killing Tang San now. At this moment, Chu Ye had the intention to kill him, but Tang San on the ground suddenly begged Chu Ye for mercy. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Can you please let us go? I promise that we will not have any hostility towards you because of my teacher's affairs. I kneel down and beg you. Hehe, you are quite flexible. Chu Ye sneered. Brother San. Don't. Tang San had no choice. He could only beg for mercy to save his and Xiao's lives. He would survive first, and then take revenge on Chu Ye after he became stronger. Ha ha. Chu Ye laughed. How could he believe Tang San's lies? This double-standard man, who would Chu Ye not know? Tang San is not a person who will not seek revenge if he has a grudge. At this moment, an extremely domineering voice rang out. Xiao San, a man's knees are made of gold, how can you kneel down to outsiders? Tang Ao, he is here as expected. Chu Ye instantly became serious, and his first reaction was to immediately hold Xiao and Tang San hostage. But suddenly, a very strong soul power fluctuation came instantly, directly shaking Chu Ye and Qian Renxue away by 10 meters. The next second, a middle-aged man about 50 years old appeared in front of Chu Ye and others. He was tall and burly, wearing a torn robe, and walked slowly, but every step was full of momentum and domineering. This person was Tang San's father, Aoshan Duo, Tang Ao, currently with a soul power of level 95. Dad. Chapter 123 Tang San. Dad. He's my dad. Tang Ao appears. Dad. It's Dad. Xiao, my dad. Tang San recognized him at a glance. That was his dad whom he hadn't seen for many years. Tang San was very surprised, excited, and shocked. At the same time, seeing that Tang Ao's aura seemed very strong, he didn't expect that his father was such a strong man. Dad, how come you are here? Tang San was extremely excited. First, he saw his father, and second, his father was so powerful. At least he and Xiao were safe. Tang Ao then waved and pulled Tang San and Xiao behind him, saying, let's talk about it later. Now, I will teach this kid a lesson for you. Dare to beat my son like this, no matter what your background is, I will beat you up today. Tang Ao's body instantly rose with an extremely domineering and terrifying aura, with an arrogant and domineering expression on his face. He rushed over fiercely, but halfway through, Tang Ao's face suddenly changed. He suddenly sensed a strong and familiar aura. Soon, a charming man stood in front of Chu Ye and Qian Renxue. Oh, a chrysanthemum dares to stop me. Tang Ao sneered when he found out that it was indeed Douluo. When he was level 89, he could severely injure Douluo, Ghost Duo, and the previous Pope Qian Zunji by himself. Now that he is level 95, how dare Douluo stand in front of him? Tang Ao didn't even bother to use all his strength to hit Douluo. But Tang Ao didn't know that the quality of Douluo's martial spirit had been improved by 1 level, and even his soul power had broken through to level 96. Tang Ao. Douluo gritted his teeth and showed a fierce look. The battle that year caused a lot of psychological trauma to Douluo. He was indeed a little afraid of Tang Ao, but now that his soul power has been improved to level 96, his confidence has increased a lot, and he will never allow anyone to hurt Chu Ye and Qian Renxue. Douluo almost went all out to repel Tang Ao's attack. Although Tang Ao didn't use all his strength, he also hit hard. Bang bang. What? This guy's power. Tang Ao was shocked. He had already sensed the terrifying energy in Douluo, which was much stronger than before. But when Tang Ao sensed it, it was too late to mobilize a stronger force. The terrifying forces of both sides collided head-on. Bang. Boom boom boom. Ah. Tang Ao, who was already known for his domineering power, was actually blasted back by Douluo. It was precisely because of Tang Ao's contempt for Douluo that he suffered a loss. Tang Ao, you use this little power to look down on anyone. My strength is no longer comparable to that of the past. Douluo raised his orchid finger and smiled charmingly. Back then, he could be said to be quite frustrated by Tang Ao's hammer, but today he finally felt proud. Tang Ao's face was ugly, and he said in a calm voice, "You old chrysanthemum, you have also cultivated to the realm of level 96. Tang Ao never thought that Douluo could also reach level 96. You know, from ancient times to the present, there are many soul masters who have reached the level of titled Douluo. But most of the limit is level 95, and they can't break through to level 96 inches their entire lives. This is a watershed." He was surprised that Douluo could reach level 96. The appearance of Douluo also shows that Chu Ye and Qian Renxue were from the Spirit Hall. But what about disciples of the Spirit Hall? He must teach Chu Ye a lesson for his son today. Tang Ao sneered. Even if you reach level 96, you can't protect the younger generation behind you. Ha! Tang Ao's domineering aura officially exploded, and circles of soul rings appeared under his feet, 2 yellow, 2 purple, 4 black, and 1 red. The red soul rings were extremely shining. Indeed, Tang Ao was right. Even if Douluo reached level 96, he was not his opponent. Douluo showed a very fearful expression. "You two go first, I will stop him." After speaking, Douluo also released his spirit, and the 9-ring soul ring appeared under his feet. The two titled Douluos are about to start a battle. But Chu Ye and Qian Renxue had no intention of escaping. Chu Ye actually knew that Douluo was secretly escorting them. Tang Ao was indeed terrible, but Tang Ao also had to distract himself to look after Tang San and Xiao. Douluo at level 96 could fight with Tang Ao and support him. If Chu Ye and Qian Renxue continued to attack Tang San and Xiao at this time, it would be hard to say who would escape. "Here's a Douluo, Tang Ao. The one who killed my father." At this moment, Qian Renxue's eyes were extremely cold. She clenched her fists tightly, and her killing intent was very strong. Chu Ye sighed in his heart. "Swear, your father's death is indeed closely related to Tang Ao, but the person who really killed Qian Zongji was not Tang Ao, but your mother, my teacher, Bai Bai Dong." He did not choose to tell Qian Renxue the cause of Qian Zongji's death. It was not that he did not want to tell it, but it was not the right time yet. On one side is his woman, and on the other side is his teacher. Chu Ye naturally hopes that the mother and daughter can resolve their grievances and live in harmony. Chu Ye clenched Qian Renxue's tight fist, and gently stroked the back of her hand with his thumb twice, saying, "Swear, do you want to fight?" "Yes." Qian Renxue nodded, her eyes still murderous. "Okay, I'll accompany you." Looking at Tang Ao, who was already fighting with Douluo, Chu Ye's eyes also turned cold. A strong man like Tang Ao will not take the two of us seriously at all. Taking advantage of his psychological weakness, we will find the right opportunity and quickly launch the martial soul fusion technique. Although we can't kill him, it is not impossible to severely injure Tang Ao in one fell swoop. How terrible. "Third brother, your father is too strong. He is actually a titled Douluo." Xiao was very excited and happy, and said viciously, "Third brother. Just let your father kill that guy." "Dad." It turns out that Dad is so powerful, a titled Douluo. This is the battle between titled Douluos. Tang San was also very surprised. Seeing Tang Ao suppressing Douluo, Tang San was pleasantly surprised. Although he was confident that he could kill Chu Ye after growing up in the future and mastering all kinds of hidden weapons and hidden weapon techniques, it would be best if he could wipe Chu Ye out on the spot now. After Tang Yidao defeated Douluo, he immediately borrowed his father's existence to kill Chu Ye. Tang San was already calculating in his mind, and both of them showed joy on their faces. But at this moment, he suddenly saw Chu Ye and Qian Renxue rushing towards the battle between the two titled Douluo. What are they doing? Are they looking for death? They dare to interfere in the battle between titled Douluo. They don't know how to live or die. They actually dare to participate in the battle between titled Douluo. Looking at the actions of Chu Ye and Qian Renxue, Tang San and Xiao said one after another, with sneers and disdain on their faces. No one would believe that two teenage spirit masters could threaten the titled Douluo. Chapter 124. Tang Yidao and Tang San are severely injured. Xiao is trembling with fear. In the eyes of Tang San and Xiao, Chu Ye and Qian Renxue are courting death. If they rushed over, they would be hammered to death by his father, Tang Yidao, in an instant. You're courting death. Tang Yidao, who was suppressing Douluo's battle, discovered Chu Ye and Qian Renxue's actions and was extremely speechless. If Chu Ye said, Tang Yidao didn't take Chu Ye and Qian Renxue seriously at all, let alone take them to heart. He almost completely ignored them and waited for them to attack and beat them to death with a hammer. After all, which titled Douluo with strength beyond level 95 would care about the attacks of two soul sect soul kings? You didn't listen to him and ran for your lives, and you dared to attack. You are really courting death. Tang Yidao said arrogantly while dealing with Douluo. But only Douluo knew how terrible the power of Chu Ye and Qian Renxue combined was. Since Chu Ye and Qian Renxue were going to take action, Douluo also knew how to cooperate. 8th soul skill, Flowing Light. Douluo directly released the second most powerful soul skill to try to attract and contain Tang Yidao. Now, Swear. Soul Fusion skill. Angel Demon God Destroyer. Chu Ye and Qian Renxue did not hesitate to consume a lot of soul power in an instant, and launched the soul fusion at the fastest speed. They stuck together back to back, and their souls and soul rings merged and collided. In an instant, a huge angel appeared behind it. On the left and right sides of the angel, the Sword of Light and the Sword of Darkness were hovering. With an extremely terrifying aura, that aura made Tang San and Xiao feel very scared. This move was enough to severely damage the titled Douluo. Escape. You should be the one to escape, Tang Yidao. Chu Ye's voice echoed. The next second, the Sword of Light and the Sword of Darkness, driven by the angel, instantly stacked Tang Yidao. What? How is it possible? They are just two juniors, but they can exert such a terrifying martial soul fusion skill. Tang Yidao's face changed drastically. He didn't guard against Chu Ye and Qian Renxue at all. He thought they would just rush over and knock them down with a casual hammer. But this kind of power was completely beyond Tang Yidao's expectations. It was too late to mobilize powerful energy to fight back and defend. Bang! Boom boom boom! Ah! Tang Yidao let out an extremely tragic cry and was instantly knocked to the ground in midair, and his body slammed heavily on the ground. Under this blow, Tang Yidao was already seriously injured. Dad, Dad! Tang San screamed. How is it possible? How is it possible? Tang San and Xiao were stunned. All this was completely beyond their expectations. The smug smiles on their faces disappeared in an instant, and they looked shocked, and unbelievable. They actually seriously injured their father, who was as powerful as a titled Douluo. Is this real? Tang San was a little skeptical about life. This has overturned his understanding of this world. Although Tang Yidao was seriously injured, a strong man like Tang Yidao is still very fierce. He stood up from the ground with a murderous look on his face, his eyes were red and he was furious. Being seriously injured by two juniors was a shame for Tang Yidao. Very good. You are very good. Since you don't run away, then die here. Tang Yidao had already surged with terrifying murderous intent, extremely domineering. Then let's see whether you kill us first, or we kill your son first. Chu Ye sneered, and there was no fear on his face. The next second, Chu Ye and Qian Renxue launched the two-body and one-spirit fusion skill, the God and Demon Angel. The God and Demon Angel state appeared, exuding an aura that could rival the low-level titled Douluo. Third brother. What kind of monsters are they? Xiao's eyes were filled with fear, and she swallowed her throat and hugged Tang San. The two hugged each other, their bodies trembling. She and Tang San were looking at the Angel of Gods and Demons at this moment, and they were actually scared in their hearts. It was too effing terrifying. With their strength, the terror would be wiped out in an instant in front of the angel of gods and demons, right? Tang Dao was also extremely shocked, his heart sank, and he hesitated a little. His domineering aura instantly weakened a little. Aren't you domineering and arrogant? Now you have the guts to try it. The voice of the angel of gods and demons rang out. But in fact, Chu Ye knew that even in the state of the angel of gods and demons, combined with the level 96 Douluo, he could not beat Tang Dao now. But he knew very well that Tang Dao didn't dare to fight. Because here, there are two weak Tang San and Xiao. Douluo can barely hold Tang Dao, and the angel of gods and demons state may kill Tang San during this time. Tang Dao stood there with a gloomy face, but after seeing Qian Renxue's six-winged angel spirit, he actually dared to kill her. It was he who offended the spirit hall that year, causing the Ocean sect to close the sect and choose to retire. If he offended the spirit hall again, his son would be in trouble, and even the Ocean sect would be implicated again. Therefore, Tang Dao thought that if he had the chance, he would teach Chu Ye a lesson, or force them to retreat, or even escape. Although he had been decadent for many years, he was still a famous Ocean Douluo on the mainland. If he fled in front of a chrysanthemum Douluo, would he lose face? But now the state of the god and demon angel made Tang Dao understand the situation. He did not dare to take risks, and he was a little embarrassed to take Tang San and Xiao away. What are you hesitating about? If you don't dare to fight, just get out of here. You. Just a junior. Tang Dao was extremely angry and clenched his fists tightly. Little number. I give you 3 seconds, give me. Get out. Chu Ye roared in an extremely domineering manner. At this time, he had to act more domineering than Tang Dao, more fearless of death, and more desperate. It felt like he was ready to take action immediately. Tang Dao was a little bit trapped by the tiger, which made him feel very aggrieved. It was the first time that he was so aggrieved by someone, and he was still a junior. Chu Ye was also that first person who dared to be so domineering and speak to him like this. HMPH. Wait for me, kid, we will meet again. It was too embarrassing to escape like this. Tang Dao had to say something harsh to save some face. Then, he instantly rolled up Tang San and Xiao and fled, disappearing without a trace in a moment. Your Highness, Tang Dao was forced to retreat and escaped. Ha, your momentum just now was so cool. Douluo was in a very happy mood. He suffered a great loss from Tang Dao that year, and now he met Tang Dao again. Tang Dao had to escape, so he was naturally in a good mood. Chu Ye and Qian Renxue lifted the state of the god and demon angel. If there were no two burdens around Tang Dao today, we would have escaped. Chu Ye's face was calm again. Scare off Tang Dao was undoubtedly an impressive record, but Chu Ye did not feel proud of it because he knew very well that he did not really rely on his own strength. Chapter 125 Soul Method. So Tang Dao's strength is naturally not something Chu Ye can touch now. If it weren't for Douluo's cooperation, Tang Dao didn't take Chu Ye and Qian Renxue seriously. How could they have severely damaged Tang Dao? Tang Dao, who was level 95, plus the Big Zumi hammer, ring explosion and other skills, most of the level 96 title Douluo may not be his opponent. In Chu Ye's memory, Tang Dao was able to rescue Tang San and Xiao and escape with the presence of many title Douluos and Bai Dong in the Pope's palace. So, in fact, if Tang Dao chose to fight and protect Tang San and Xiao at the same time, Chu Ye didn't have absolute confidence to say that he could threaten Tang San and Xiao in that situation while ensuring the safety of our lives. Chu Ye slowly withdrew his thoughts and said, let's go, let's leave here first. Okay. The three returned to the carriage and continued to set off for Zhenxin City. Douluo also immediately sent a message to report today's events back to the Pope's palace. In the car, Qian Renxue did not intend to give up. Chu Ye, Tang Dao's son, is Yu Xiaokung's apprentice, so they are also students of note in college, right? Chu Ye guessed what Qian Renxue was thinking and replied, yes, but after this incident, they must be on guard and may choose to transfer to other colleges. Besides, it is not so easy to kill Tang Dao, unless the elders of the offerings come out. Tang Dao's spirit hall already had a feud, and now there is a conflict with the spirit hall. The targets of the conflict are still the spirit hall's son and the young master. It is not impossible for the spirit hall to use Tang San's weakness to deal with Tang Dao. Because it is not so easy for the spirit hall to kill Tang Dao, but if there is one more son, it will be easier to target the son. So Tang Dao may let Tang San and others transfer to another college, or even bring him with him, or protect him closely. The possibility of continuing to stay in Noting College may not be high. Chu Ye said, honestly. Zhuye, now is not the time to deal with Tang Dao in a big way. There is no rush. Well, I know. Qian Renxue gradually calmed down. The elders of the Spirit Hall are like company directors. They have no job assignments. They just go to work and punch in every day to get paid. Most of the time, they are actually in seclusion to level up. Seclusion is one point. The elders cannot casually interfere in the affairs of the mainland. First, it is the rules of the Spirit Hall itself. Second, it is to achieve a balance of power with the two empires of Tiando and Douluo. Although Qian Renxue can invite the elders, it is too much of a show. After all, this world is not the world of the Spirit Hall. There are also the two empires of Tiando and Douluo. This topic ended here. Chu Ye looked at Douluo, who was still very calm. After thinking for a while, he asked, Elder Yuligan, didn't you notice anything about that girl just now? Douluo was stunned and asked with some doubts, is there anything special about that girl? Sure enough, Douluo, didn't you see that Xiao is a soul beast? Chu Ye thought to himself. Soul beasts that transform into humans are easily discovered by titled Douluo level masters. Logically, it is not difficult for Douluo to discover that Xiao is a soul beast. Moreover, Xiao now has no acacia heartbroken red to cover up the soul beast's aura, which makes it easier to expose. Is it because Douluo's attention is all on Tang Dao, and he has never looked at Xiao directly? This is the only explanation Chu Ye can think of. Titled Douluo can see that soul beasts transform, but if he doesn't pay attention to it at all, how can he find it? He smiled and shook his head to divert the question. Nothing special, Elder Yuligan. How have you digested the residual medicinal effects after absorbing the fairy grass these days? Douluo said with some pleasure. Almost, I feel very good. My strength seems to have improved a little in just a few days. That's great. I hope Elder Yuligan can break through level 97 as soon as possible. Level 97, I dare not think about it without 10 years of hard work. Douluo shook his head and smiled bigly. The three of them talked for a while in the car. Chu Ye was bored, so he went to meditate and practice for a while. After a long time, he stopped practicing, clenched his fists slightly and thought, now my soul power has reached level 47, and I only need 3 levels to break through to the Soul King realm. With my current endurance limit, it is enough to absorb a soul ring of 100,000 years. The 100,000 years of the 5th soul ring, which one should I choose? Chu Ye opened the system task list that he hadn't seen for a long time. Tasks from 1 to 10 correspond to levels 10, 20, 30, and so on to level 100. He has completed the first 4 tasks. After reaching level 50, he will receive the reward for the 5th task. Task 5. Soul power reaches level 50, reward, soul contract method, introduction. It is a soul ring substitute that is superior to soul rings, has less damage to soul beasts, and maximizes the ability of soul masters. Task 6. Soul power reaches level 60, reward is a divine inheritance, god level, god king level. Task 7. Soul power reaches level 70, reward is to increase the age of all soul rings by 50,000 years. Task 8. Soul power reaches level 80, reward is unknown. Task 9. Soul power reaches level 90, reward is unknown. Task 10. Soul power reaches level 100, breakthrough to god level, reward is unknown. The soul contract method in task 5 is closely related to what kind of 100,000-year soul ring Qian intends to absorb. The soul method is a new way to absorb soul rings that will appear in Douluo Continent 10,000 years later. The soul of the soul beast is extracted from the body in a special way and an equal contract is signed with the soul master. When the soul master reaches the bottleneck of level 10, it will be transformed into a soul ring to help the soul master break through. In this way, the soul beast will coexist with the soul master in the form of a soul, and the soul of the soul beast can retain its sanity and help the host fight. It is another form of existence of the soul beast. Ordinary killing of soul beasts and absorbing the soul rings of soul beasts can only obtain soul skills, while absorbing them in the form of souls can not only obtain soul skills, but also soul beast partners transformed into souls to assist in fighting. Assuming that the soul of the 5th soul ring is a 100,000-year-old titan ape, it is equivalent to having a 100,000-year-old titan ape helping you fight. The strength of the soul will also become stronger as the strength of the soul master becomes stronger. When the soul master breaks through the god level and ascends to the god realm, the soul will also ascend to the god realm with the host, transform into a god of the god level, and then obtain eternal life. For soul beasts who have almost cut off the opportunity to become gods, becoming the soul of a human soul master is almost their only chance to become gods. In Chu Ye's memory, some soul beasts would even take the initiative to become the souls of soul masters, and thus ascend to adulthood with the help of humans. Therefore, absorbing soul rings through souls is undoubtedly better than absorbing soul rings through ordinary hunting of soul beasts, and it is also more effective in improving strength. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.